And as quick and as long, down towards long. Not paid. Redmond does the job. They're off to the perfect start.
Terrific last few weeks. Mason Redmond, good effort there against Ben Long, who's in the All-Australian squad. A good few weeks.
Yeah, what a rise for him. Anderson a swing and a miss. Merritt defending from deep, but the kick does give Fiorani a golden opportunity to send the Suns forward. Short, not 15. Toot Miller had to adapt. Gets to Long again, but fantastic fly over top from Durham. You'd expect nothing but that sort of courage. Late withdrawal last week, returns tonight.
Back from a foot injury. Sam Durham. Laverty back in as well. Just to go with the hip. That's what I want to do here. Hemmed in. Had a great season, Archie Roberts. Probably top 5 in the Rising Star, maybe top 3, top 4. Gets it outside 50, but Rao gets the crumb. Feeds it back over to Fiorani. Tried to back out of a Durham tackle, which is hard to do. Ball dispute. Miller, Noble, caught but shrugged it. Back to Rao. Pops into the pocket. He's got Long down there. And he's got Farah. Good grab. Been a good inclusion.
Yeah, came in a few weeks ago. Important win. It's Collingwood or the Brisbane Lions. It was.
It was the structural change.
Yeah, it was. It was. Yeah. Jed Walter was in there. It may have been a bit bigger. He's more mobile. He helps with the pressure game.
So 2-1 from 5 possessions only against Port last week. 1-2 the week before, and that doesn't bend enough. Well, they've done plenty of attacking early stages in this one.
They can say it. Straight kicking early, pretty important to settle things for the Suns. An easy shot. Dylan Shield is just. It seems like it's going to be his last game in Essendon colours. Off to Redmond, clean exit, Durham. Nothing jumps out, I think, Long, so he brings it into Langford. It's been a troubled year for him, a couple of false starts, and at least he's finishing the season. Playing footy again, leading goal kicker over the last couple of years. Here's Roberts again on the turn. Moving the Bombers forwards their first look. And Merritt, would you believe, is down, and so is the ex-Sun in right row. To redeem after last week below his normal standard. McGrath trying to wind through to Merritt, usual suspects, Durham, and then runs aground with Witts. Flicks the handball a little indiscriminately, really. Davies has the body to carry all of that, but it's a ball up. So nothing really doing of significance so far through the first 2.5 minutes.
Signs out from Essendon. The pressure's been good.
Yeah, apart from that live ladder, which hasn't given the 8. That's the bizarre nature of where we're at. We'll be watching that all night. Hewlin gets back. Kako hunts in. Hewlin. Kako, boundary line was his friend, and he gets it out.
How's that, Kako? Did a lot of centre bounces last week against Carlton. Great signs. Trying to get Kako in through there. Archie Roberts spending some more time there. He's obviously been a revelation for the club. High draft pick. Played most of the season. Unlike a lot of younger players, he seems to be getting stronger as the season goes on.
The 4 Bombers have played every game this year, and Kako is one of them. It's a great effort, really.
Yeah, it is a mighty effort in a struggling team.
Bombers have lost the last 12, but it's the 4th time in their history. Bulldogs' hopes riding on them. So now the massive underdogs tonight. Miller and Roberts. Tackles are laid. Powell trying to get away out. Had help with Rioli. Big difference he makes. Weller receiving and then kicking to Humphrey. Big test out here on the wing for Clark. Humphrey stays balanced, stays in control, fires it one-on-one, and that one is King. So he'll get his chance here, Ben King, to lead from the front in the forward line.
Excuse me, Ben King. I mean, normally a forward would lead at the kicker, try and get an uncontested mark, but he almost fights for the back position. Ball does come long enough that he was able to hold his height and take the mark, but the easier one was just to run at the kicker.
62 goals, 18. Good enough to see him nominated for All-Australian. 24 goals, 2 over the last 8 games. Just got to take that accuracy, steer it through. The Suns begin the way they need to. A goal from one of their leaders.
He's in red hot goal kick. The accuracy form, that's as good as you were saying. So he seems to be in a really good rhythm with his set shot goal kicking routine. Not leaning back too much, kicking the ball through the ball, not trying to kick it too hard, but you're right, Lee. He tends to draw it. He's not a massive leader of the ball. Sometimes it can be frustrating. You'd like to see him maybe get up the ground a little bit or come at the kicker. But really following the instructions from the coaching staff, draws it in, good one-on-one mark. this is something he just wasn't able to get involved enough last week against Port Adelaide. Humphrey's important back into the side too, mate.
He's a good player. Yes, I mean, it's interesting. Okay, we're about 5 minutes in, and the Suns have started with energy. I mean, that always when the game starts. Well, when Essendon are out at 2, that's not too bad, but the Suns have certainly got plenty of zip about them to start the game, as you would expect and hope.
Big 3-1 last week. Ben King from just 5 possessions against Port. He was reasonably well held by a debutant in that. McGrath, Kako, sends the Bombers forward. Right under it, and it's out by McAndrew nicely.
McAndrew's had some big roles throughout the year, playing on the bigger key position player like he is tonight with Peter Wright.
Out wide, Which is out there, gets up and gets it.
Looks defeated off, which he does successfully. Weller, picture of indecision initially, and his kick reflected that. Bombers everywhere. Pryor, he's another one that's played each of all the games for the Bombers. And McGrath, who's had plenty of midfield time over the last month, couldn't handle it cleanly, and it's back over the line and out of bounds.
And another credit to Essendon. Archie Roberts is another who's played every game as well, one of their 4. So some young players getting plenty of game time, and he has become one of the best young guns in the comp. Did play, of course, late last year, but had a fantastic season this year. Perkins wrapped up.
They've had the most Rising Star nominations, the Bombers, since 2016. That's 4 of them.
Well, you probably want to have had 15 debuts.
That's right. Well, it's a good sign they can actually play. There's a bit of talent there.
That's true. Weller sends it inside 50. Farah's the guy again. Gets up there and gets it again. Now he wants to slip it to King or head to Ainsworth in the pocket. It was made to earn it by another Rising Star nominee this year, Angus Clark. But Ainsworth has a chance to double down.
Important thing too early in the games is that set shot goal kicking. Just get away to the start.
Well, he's kicked 20 goals, 11 this year, Ben Ainsworth. That won't count as a behind or a goal. And Hunterick had a perfect opportunity to pull it down and it bounced off his chest. O'Looley, Merritt, cautious. Dersma takes the mark in the back pocket.
He's just missed the one game, which is good for a player who's been regularly troubled with injury.
I'd love to see how often they practice a left foot snap from 40 metres out, running off the mark.
And when they get to the wing, Harry quick Guelphy playing in front, playing it well is Powell, wants to move it. Ewan's got numbers to work with on both the in and the outside here. Try and hedge their bets on the mark. Oh, look at that, perfect waving. And King couldn't help but take the mark.
When there's that space, I mean, that's where you can take 6 lead-up marks and kick 6 goals. I mean, the one-on-one aerial contest, you might take 2 or 3 then a game, but that is reading the cues of the kicker. Nice lead, easy possession.
Kick 4 last time against the Bombers, 4, 3 and 4. His last 3 games, and that was against Laverty. And just 6 disposals. A deep breath. We wait and watch. And then the Suns fans applaud. No sign of nerves whatsoever.
Oh, it's an outstanding kick. Great start. I love the balance. So he takes a long contested mark, drawing the ball. This time comes at the kicker. So Laverto's unsure about what he's going to do. It's really important to have balance as a key position player. Let's focus on his goal kicking. 26 goals, 2. Now in the last 8 weeks. That's incredible.
And 12 months ago, I thought he was a bit iffy with his set shot. Browning, he has just improved incredibly in that part of his game.
Yeah, he really has. And starting to understand the graphics department, we put a bit of pressure on him since kick 2 in the first 5 minutes. Been able to update that, but 26 now. I like that. Great craft there, pushing the chest. That's hard to recover from as a defender. But he understands his goal-kicking routine now, Lee, which is really important. Understand what he needs to do under pressure. Really good start.
From the restart, fans here enjoying this so far. High bomb from Shield. Fist comes, Powell in the right spot at the right time, feeds it out. Dersma hunted down, flicks it over his head. McMahon back inside. Lual is working it around. Didn't quite work though, and Butterick, well, he slipped at the wrong moment. Pryor wobbles it around his body. McMahon dropped it. Still getting an opportunity. The fumble's will work. Durham. Bizarre that he was free. 45 from goal.
Yeah, Bailey Humphrey he did come down the cover as the half forward, and the high half forward, he slipped over. So that's why Sam Durham ended up on his own.
Just when they had the Bombers on the ropes a little, taking the punches, Sam Durham gets to land one back. Back to a foot injury. Gets a ball or two. They'll leave nothing in the tank tonight, the Bombers. And he gets it there.
A really good kick, good response too. He's an important player, Sam Durham. I feel like outside of Zach Merritt from the outside, he's the spirit and the energy, especially around the midfield. We saw what Zach Butters did last week, especially with his physicality in the centre square. And Sam Durham's capable against the Gold Coast team tonight, a strong midfield.
And Dylan Shield, when he gets a chance with a bit of time and space, he can find that free target inside 50. It's often how that space opens up around the centre half forward area, and the attacking team, with a quick glance there, players on.
Bombers have only won 5 first quarters this year, so important they make a good start, as they did against the Saints way back in round 23. This is, of course, their second game of round 24. Swift bounce, wins the tap, read again by Shield. Automatically back to Perkins to make a late season statement. Everything through Durham at the moment. The late pressure from Davies had an effect. Clark, more effect. And without the footies, Holmesworth is the loser out of that. And the popular call locally. And he breaks to the right. He takes some instructions from his relatively more experienced teammate behind him in Archie Roberts, the second year advising a first year. Deep to full forward is that instructions. Wright and McMahon are both there. There's hands involved. Quick snap, Guelphy. Across the face. Collins gets the favourable bounce. Well up to Davies. He floated it where the call came from. Stymied for a moment. Ball against State through for Powell. Andrews, so they're just dodging reasonable bullets here, but they've somehow manufactured a kick out to the wing through Witts, and then the juggle remains there. Far from perfect, but that's the result is all that matters.
Maybe that was the plan. Big Witsy was there for a while on his own. So the long ball, Reid got the climb, Humphrey the crumb, little poke pass, out in front of Long, bang, that was always going to happen. Nothing else happens but a hard effort when Long goes at it, and Humphrey hammers it across the face. Wow, what about that hit?
We've seen this many times throughout the year. He hits hard. Very rarely he deviates. Ben Long, good effort too by Laverde to keep his eye on the ball and stay in the straight line.
He something corky against the Kilda, a big one, so he's regularly in the wars. Comes back in today. Roberts, smooth kick. Wright had a good look at that. Reid turned into defence. Humphrey and through Mack. And then forward again to Weller. Circle and eventually drive. Long from one side and almost from the other. Butterick's been a flyer a couple of times tonight. Clark kept his cool. Laverde a little longer than he wanted. Clark again. That's more they get out, but only just. Shields' kick was good enough.
Merritt in good hands. A little quieter last week than normal, just for 24 possessions against Carlton, but he wasn't named in the All-Australian squad of 44, which was an interesting non-call to Goldie, who we'll probably expect might play next year. The last left in his draft after the retirement of Travis Boak. To Roberts, to Perkins. Went with a bullet, didn't work. Powell cuts it off. Inside kick. Miller can go if he wants to, and you bet he wants to. He's got the spear pass. Long's been everywhere. Had an outstanding year.
Bad turnover, is it, on the way out from Essendon? As soon as you kick the ball to the opposition around the wing position, defence is coming out with the attacking and flow. Forwards drop off into spaces, and Long got rewarded for that and shot goal.
A terrific kick there by Will Powell. Really aggressive.
Deep breath. Kicked 3-1 from 13 possessions last week against Port. And this is for goal 100 for his career, but more importantly, for a big lead for the Suns to make the most of their early momentum, but he can't nail it. Bulldogs fans in the house. There'll be a few Bulldog fans at home watching this, a little nervous. He looked pretty confident.
Don't know how closely they'll be watching early. Just half an eye on the TV, I think. Shield blasted for Dersma. Flanders in tow. Sub last week, Sam Flanders. Just up and down season and has tailed off a bit, but gets a chance tonight. But again, there is speculation he mightn't be here next year.
Yeah, he had an injury interrupted pre-season, so hasn't been able to get going. He was sub last week, and he said they desperately love him to get himself back into form, especially when they play finals.
And Scott has an 8-7 record against Timmer Hardwick overall. Dersma from the feedback. Jeffrey will have the fly. He heard the call of touch play on. And Fiorina, they're able to adapt pretty well through Jeffrey and on to Reid and now Rao and Davies. They put that together beautifully. Now the kick. Well, you have to wait a little longer after the bounce. Farah is the target, one-on-one with Blackiston. He does the defensive job and gets it to safety.
Just a bit of an injury update here on the bench. There's Liam McMahon. He spent the last 2 or 3 minutes just trying to stop the blood flow from his nose in the marking contest.
Thanks for that, Lynchy. Yeah, Blackiston, another one of those that has made their debut this year, but at 26 years of age, of course, not eligible for a Rising Star nomination. But they found some players this year, the Bombers. Essendon Holt, your experienced Todd Goldstein with the free.
Interesting how many they keep, isn't it, of all the players?
Yeah, spot on. Some big calls to make.
Yep. Bam.
Wide out. Big ball to win here. Early momentum with the Suns. Collins slung the kick away. Davies has come into the season, into the team late in this season and had a couple of good games and a couple of games where he's fumbled a bit. Rao feeds it back out. Rioli back in tonight. Weller hunted down. Got a handball away just in time. McGrath. Rao threw out a boot. Almost tripped him. Out wide to right. He might want to make a statement tonight. You didn't even play me my last season here. You traded me for draft pick. You didn't even use. And he goes to the wall. Goal square. Off hands. Noble. Powell. McAndrew. Noble. Some boys there.
And they're out quickly. Davies just held up but not for long. Gets them running through Rioli. Through the middle with one. And a second. Daniel Rioli goes straight to the main man. Ben King on the end of it. Fluent footy from the Suns. The sort of footy that will stand out and make them feel confident about their credentials for September.
This is what they really missed last week. They've missed him for a few weeks now, just helping with their transition. This was they were sloppy, coming inside 50 time, just took the distance, waited for King to come back in.
So Ben King for a third goal. You look to your leaders early. And they look to Ben King, who's kicked three. And so far, so good for the Suns.
Yeah, that was El Mingroli actually, because he runs so quickly. Once he takes off the ball, very rarely is going to get run down from behind. So he can confidently go, his teammates go with him. And as we've mentioned, Brownie, Ben King is actually now had a couple of times. Where's the kicker? Where's the space? Lead up into it and takes the uncontested mark. So he's had two of those now. He can go half a dozen out of that play if he keeps doing that one.
Well, that's right. It makes it easy for the kicker. You know, it's a lot harder kick to hit the one over the back or certainly on a backwards angle. The half forwards were good there. They played their role, so they lengthened away from Daniel Rioli so he could take that space. And then it finally calls for Ben King to come back at him.
65 for the season now for Ben King. He can't win the Coleman. He needs to kick 21 tonight.
No, you never know.
You never know. It's been a good start for him. Good shoot handball low from Anderson to Rowell. Off and running. Hunter down. Slips the tackle with that core strength. Little chip kick, a sizzler back in that direction. Rowell has had a couple of options. He goes back to his old running mate in Anderson and he feeds it wide nicely. But they look so confident at the moment, the Suns. And this is a huge kick for Fiorina. He goes with the passing. Guess who?
He's got the knack, Brown. He's decided completely the kick is an easy way to get it.
Yeah.
Suddenly Jeremy Cameron sitting at home on the couch.
He's nervous.
But they're running the ball through the middle of the ground beautifully, aren't they, the Suns, to the Essendon defensive pressure around the middle of the ground, just not able to stop them getting really easy little hit-up passes.
Well, this would be the dream start 4 goals in the opening quarter to your gun forward. It's a little wide.
Well, they've upset Brownie now.
Yep.
Very good stat.
27. There
Not
was
my
five.
stat, it's been King's stat.
There was 5 complete misses in all that. We didn't need to
There
tell
was.
you.
I'll stop.
Don't wreck a good stat with the truth, Hutto, you know that.
I waited until he missed one.
Didn't make the distance okay, you know. He was having shots from 60.
Collins in amongst all that, the main disruptor. Anderson read the fist well. Merritt couldn't put the tackle on. Davies had Noble ready to go, and Jeffrey also trying to read the cues, but good effort, redoubled effort from Merritt. Flanders, meantime, working in with Ewell, and he skims that one right up to Reed, who's taken on more of the mantle, hasn't he, since his big mate Walter has been left out of the team. And more footy's come through. I think he was the most targeted player, actually, last week. Brings it into Flanders. His eyes were darting, waiting for the right little movement ahead. And that comes from the ex-co-captain Miller, who has impressed the club so much after the handover to Anderson. The feeling was it was time to go from... He had that movement in his eye too, didn't he? And once again, we see the former co-captains setting it off to the new skipper.
One thing, there has been a breeze around today, so we saw it Sunday night, the Hawthorn-Brisbane game, really still night, so it was good. Tonight there's been that breeze leading into the game, so the ball handling skills are really good because the ball's dry out there. It's a perfect night for football. That's why they're going for these kicks.
Noah Anderson, we've seen some sensational goals from him on the run. Got a little more time to think about this one. 40 metres out. Nerveless from the captain. The signs are all good for the Suns.
That's their 11th inside 50 mark in almost half a quarter of football. I mean, that's about a full game's worth on average. They're just hitting up their forwards into space. The pressure upfield from Essendon isn't enough to stop the kicker having the freedom to be able to find the target. But that's a hell of a lot of inside 50 marks in one half quarter.
And scoring from turnover, that's part of their game has dropped off the last few weeks. Really strong in the first half of the year. As we speak about often, you need to be a strong turnover scoring team. Tonight's read their 4 goals from turnover.
Good build-up, wasn't it? Like good considered build-up.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. 13 inside 50s for 11 inside 50 marks. That's impressive.
Their ball handling is clean and their skills have been precise. You know, 7 days ago in Adelaide, they didn't look like this, did they? No, different game.
You're spot on, Lee. There has been times when trying to lead has been a bit like building a house of sticks, but this looks like it's bricks they're building with at the moment. Langston playing it front. Miller nearly pounced on it. Ewan driven, face planted. No free.
So, yeah, took nice. Straight out of the centre bounce there. Gets there, his first one to the crumb.
Back in motion from the Wits tap. Dersma. Well, didn't rush it. Roberts, likewise. Merritt to the wing. Guelphy. It's Hewlin. It's a sign of respect for how far he's come. Oh, you can't let the handball straight across to your opponent, obviously. And Guelphy fights back with assistance from Durham. And now the run from Dersman. Back to Guelphy. So get the momentum either on the play or the kick. And chopped off by Pat.
Who is of vital importance as well. Collins has been solid as ever back there as well in the All-Australian squad of 44. Reed got up there, Wits in front. Crum still there. Fed back out. Flanders little poke pass. Not the required to Powell. Just moonwalks his way away from McMahon. Delightful. And the kick just as good to Ainsworth, but he spills it. Mops up his mess. Noble wide. Miller. He spears it, hoping for Farah. Off hands. Was that a centering kick or a shot at goal? Centering kick if you like. Big fly. Durham couldn't bring it down. They're up for the fight though, the Bombers. You feel it. McGrath. Stripped though. Anderson! How's the wow factor there? Captain fantastic.
They're great. That's what you want from your captain. He's had a fantastic year in his first year as captain. I love the Suns' frontal pressure then that when they got inside 50, then they started to come down. They started to come down on top of the Essendon defenders. They felt the pressure and started to try and quick kick it out of there.
No, they've started really well. I mean, that was the always the issue. The game's gone to script in terms of probably the expectation of the Suns, but I just think that the life and energy the Suns have started with. I mean, if you've got that life and energy, well, then you'll play to the best of your given talent. And just at the moment, they're just a mile above the Bombers.
And already David Hardwick, if he glances up at the screen and has a look at the live ladder, you will see that his Suns have jumped up to provisionally 7th. So a little win, and they played the Giants a big one. They played Freo in Perth. Early days yet, though. It's all heading one way, though. Out of the middle, Rao to Long. He's played his part as well.
Rao's had a great start. Down last week, that was his 10th disposal. 2 centre bounce clearances now, starting to get it on top around the centre of the ground.
He had a season low 15 disposals, around 15 when they last played the Bombers, Matt Rao.
Eye contact, 50 metres goal post.
Just helps who you go.
What do we got here? 50.
Ben King.
It might be a free kick closer to goal, but the 50 goes to goal line.
Yeah, a bigger advantage.
Just so it helps the midfielders when you're going to dominant tap ruckman like Jared Wicks. You know, they can just get proactive and get on the move. That time round gets a clean centre clearance.
So that takes all the anxiety out, doesn't it, for Ben Long? 42 goals for the season. Been sensational. Fires it through for a 6th goal in the opening term. Already the margin has blown out to 34 points. The Bulldogs fans probably look away from that.
They're going to have a bad Wednesday. Bulldogs tonight. The way it stands right now, they can just about order in.
Wacky.
There's like the elastic band, I reckon, of hope for the losing team. Once the opposition gets 7 or 8 goals in front, the hope sort of just goes. And it's very early in the game, so it's slightly different.
Is this the extended Lee Matthews rule, is it?
No, this is the Malcolm Blight one.
Oh,
the Malcolm Blight is just to talk about the rubber band, the extended rubber band, and that is what is being stretched at the moment. The hope from Essendon that we've still got a chance of winning, and it'd be going, but another 2 or 3 goals, all of a sudden it disappears.
Spot on. And that's what Port Adelaide didn't relinquish last week early in the game. Yeah. They stayed physical, stayed in the game. The scoreboard never got away from them, so there was hope.
Could be a big celebration night for the Suns tonight. Goldie takes matters into his own hands, heads wide. McMahon can't get there. Collins, his fist so often wins out, and it wins out here. Hard man to get past, and there is Brad Scott, 3rd season as coach, 11th. At 11th and now 15th. He's had 15 on his injury list for the last few weeks. He's had a long injury list all year. Been tough for him. And they fight this one and continue to give the Suns something to worry about. Jeffrey, Anderson, Powell, little duck step, Wicks, Rao, faked, and then went, and then turned it over to Merritt, but he put it to grass. Trouble again. Hewlin, he shrugs. Who does he want? Well, King's behind, and Laverty beat him to it. Well read. You mentioned it, Lee. He likes to play from behind. Ben King almost fights for that position.
Yeah, tonight he's come forward 3 times, got 3 marks. You'd think you might do it a bit more often, Dwayne. Be encouraged.
Fumble for Luar, but he's able to recover quickly. He's been another positive. Luar hasn't played in the win yet in 11 games, though.
From South Waterbury as well, importantly, Hutto. So, a mighty rooster.
I remember you mentioned that maybe once or twice before. Won't see the tap. Luar is swinging the miss. Anderson, he saw gaps, found them, gave it a Rao. Quite the leverage to have a shot, but could centre it. Oh, buttering. His hands around a few so far tonight. Ewan just goes straight over the top. Shield jams it into the middle, and that might pay off. Like Welfie doesn't help matters with the fumble. Kako recovers. Now it's Langford to dictate where to next.
It's got Big Collins standing there waiting for the long bomb, though. Great smother. And Collins is going to grab the loose ball anyway and reload them to Weller. Seconds are rolling, but they might put the hammer down and go for another one here. Wide ball. Flanders, you had the outlet. Noble, Howell. Seconds roll down. What's he want to do here? 1 minute signs are up on the bench. Fans it wide. So Noble could load up with a big long bomb here. Nothing else can happen bar a Suns mark and goal. I can see the score. Fist come, or maybe a row. Crumb wears his way through traffic. Oh my goodness! What a statement this has been from the Suns and their leaders.
Right, Matty Rouse had a huge first quarter, 13 touches, a couple of centre clearances, 5 scoring involvements, and a goal on the quarter time side. What a way to ignite the Suns towards their first final series.
Oh, just look at the goal kickers, 3 to King, 2 to Anderson, 1 to Rao, 1 to Long. They couldn't have hoped for a better opening term. The Gold Coast Suns just need to win tonight to be part of the finals action. They lead by 40 points at quarter time. We can't wait for September, and what a way to start. Just a couple of weeks they were there with all the drama and all the aftermath. Adelaide and Collingwood to kick things off next Thursday.
Hey, everybody, welcome in. Of course, Wednesday night footy, it's round 24.5. 24.5 is the round. Of course, this is the game from opening round where the Cyclone took over and they couldn't play. So this is the game. I tell you what, Gold Coast Suns, this is like a training drill for them out there this evening. Look, they're finding space. Their transition from defence to forward is exceptional. The Bombers are fumbling, just having trouble. I'd like to see the team disposals. I reckon it's 50% more to the Suns. They are smashing them. Absolutely smashing them. Shelty, who's in the house? We've got Chia, Advil, Ryan, Addy, G, Taddy, how you going? What's going on? But there we go. That is the score, 7-4-46 to 1 straight goal of Bombers. I tell you what, you got to feel sorry for the Western Bulldogs because they actually had to go and train yesterday out in the cold, rain, windy weather. But if we have a look at the live ladder now, of course, with the Gold Coast Suns looking like they could take this game out, the Western Bulldogs will be the ones missing out on the top 8 this year. Tell you what, there could be some happy teams in the top 8 that the Bulldogs probably won't get there because they could have been contenders if they had ended up getting through. Gold Coast Suns, there we go. It looks like that's who Freo could be playing, Addy G. I tell you what, you just got to be thankful you're playing Gold Coast in Freo and not at the Gold Coast because this game up here is at People's First Stadium where they're playing tonight, and of course that is the hardest trip on the road to win against, and that is the Gold Coast at People's First Stadium. For some reason they are super duper tough up there, but there we go. All the Gold Coast Suns, Queensland supporters cheering them on. They're into the top 8 and going to sit 7th. That's where they're going to end up if they end up winning this game, or they're 1.5%. If the Bombers, if the Bombers come back and it gets within a goal, Gold Coast could drop down to 8th and Hawthorn will be up to 7th. But there we go. That's the ladder at the moment. Just having a look at the lineups. We didn't get to that prior. Just for the Gold Coast Suns, coming in was Daniel Rioli, who's had a beautiful run through the centre. Hit a lead up to King, slotted the goal. He's in with Bailey Humphrey, Jake Rogers. Going out was Alex Sexton, Oscar Adams and Lachlan Goodwin going out. The sub was Jake Rogers. Jaden Laverde, Sam Durham coming in for the Bombers. Zach Johnson going out with Jade Gresham. Reece Unwin is the sub. There are your teams. It'll be hard. I tell you what, I reckon it is the hardest trip for any team. That is playing against the Gold Coast Suns at People's First Stadium. Looking at the goal scorers in the opening term, Ben King, ring-a-ding-ding. He's already at 3 goals in the opening term for the Gold Coast. 4 kicks, 3 goals, 1. Noah Anderson with a couple. Matty Rowell, Ben Long with single. Sam Durham is the only player for the Bombers to score a goal. The Ball Magnets, tell you what, there's a few racking them up. Of course, Matt Rowell looking dangerous out there. He's got 13 in the first term. 6 kicks, 7 handballs, 5 tackles, a couple clearances and a goal. So he is on fire. Dylan Shield, the best for the Bombers, on 11. Noah Anderson on 11 for the Suns, and Will Powell on 10. There we go. There's some of your top possessions. But I tell you what, the Gold Coast Suns, they're getting most of the ball here. I just want to have a quick look at the team stats because I just want to have a look at the disposal getter. the team disposals, because I reckon Gold Coast must be a mile up. There we go, just as I thought. 115.78, and it's the way it looks. 22, that's 37, 50% more. I was pretty well spot on. Aaron, how you doing? How you going? Every chance we get a tie this year in the Brownlow. Anderson on fire. I tell you what, there's a few players that certainly could be up for grabs for the Brownlow this year. Some we mightn't think about, but they might get there. But you just never know with Anderson. Could be. Just looking at the inside 50s, I tell you what, as I said, bit of a procession for the Suns so far. 19 inside 50s already. They just look super dangerous. I think this is a pretty fast-paced game. There's not real contested. 9 inside 50s to the Bombers. There we go. 2 free kicks. Only 2 free kicks in the opening term, both given to the Bombers. No free kicks to the Gold Coast Suns. There we go. Just jump down here quickly if I don't make anyone dizzy. Just want to go down and have a look at the tackle count. Probably not too much tackles because the ball was free-flowing a fair bit. 10 to 14. Bombers +4, 2 tackles inside 50 apiece. All right, where are we? There we go. Hey, let's get back down to the ground for the second quarter. It's the Suns by 40 points.
Rao and Anderson, they've huge quarters. Rao 13 disposed, 5 scoring goals, 5 tackles. Anderson 11 disposals, 2 goals.
So Suns fans just sitting a little more comfortably around the ground and at home watching. Being long one of the goal kickers, that Essendon defence is going to be under severe pressure, you would think, for the remainder of these 3 quarters. Second term then from People's First Stadium. Already provisionally up to 7th place. Jared Witts has waited a long time to play finals footy, the former Pie. Gets the tap down to Anderson and then Rao, heading away from goal this time. Noble, of course, who has played plenty of finals football with Collingwood, but had the ultimate heartache in 2023. Kicks to half forward, Reid reels it in. And quickly, line to move it on to Miller. Top of the goal square, King against 3 Bombers and the extra numbers. Clark judged it perfectly, floating in from the side. They couldn't say the same about the kick, though. Gabrioli with his aggressive approach, a chance to bring it in, and Weller swings it back to Jeffrey, who has a long kick. Maybe not quite this long from the stand start. Lead from King, just tossed it up to the square, and Blackiston had the access he was after.
Nice to see them set it up a bit. This is your last night to try and win mark or goal of the year. Well, you can pull it down tonight.
The Suns have already got a few well and truly in contention, haven't they?
He's had a few cracks at it.
Absolutely. The grab by Durham.
So is Durham. Durham took a good one earlier in the year.
That's true. Launches Wolf. He's going to have to fly. Collins stands under it. Collins is fists off and wins out to Mac Andrew. Put his head down, left the Sharon behind. Holding free. Holds it up. Takes some time. Everything on their side at the moment.
Oh, Newland got the call he wasn't expecting. Durham was all over it. Kako, Luau, McGrath. All strung together. Right, fell over, but with his eye on the footy, he takes the mark. It did stop him being able to turn around and get another hit up, but we know he has length on his kick, the ex-son.
He's been here, that's right, he's been here before. He's got the distance. It's a beautiful, calm night.
So all in his favour. 66 games for the Gold Coast Suns for 85 goals. Very much a Bomber now. Crichton medalist in 2022. Came in this year with a blaze of glory with 6 goals against the West Coast Eagles. He is their leading goal kicker. And if there is to be a comeback, there is no margin for error. That one's just faded late. Through for a behind. 2 goals last week from 8 disposals, Peter Wright.
Noble struts away with the kick, and he's been a great addition. Experience. Mac Andrew.
It's Peter Wright's man, Mac Andrew.
And Rioli, as mentioned, back in tonight. In at the right time to Anderson. To Long, he used his body nicely. Complete the deal, but might still. Keeps it rolling. Heads toward goal. Humphrey caught behind and Pryor takes the saving grab.
Looks to switch. And thinks better of it. And then is completely devoid of any real genuine options. So Kicks to relative safety, but he had it weighted nicely, as it turned out. Menzies bringing it inboard. McGrath to Langford. So good progression this time from the Bombers. Just the one goal in the opening term. First quarters have been a problem for them. Second quarter's a little better, so let's hope they can maintain the rage. They have played with more freedom since the bye, but they've gone back into a slow possession mode here. Probably out of necessity at the moment. Langford. It's his 9th game for the season.
Face the footy, Matt.
Roberts tempted, now Gibbs. Made it a bit harder for themselves, but the kick tidies that up. Merritt always tidy. Kicks to Goldstein. So Goldie on the Goldie. Feeds it off to Perkins. And then into the pocket to Kako.
Yeah, really good build-up. So clear direction from Brad Scott at quarter time. Well, he had 13 uncontested marks in that first quarter. The game was in too much free flow for Essendon's liking. So able to build up there with a series of marks. Just work their way slowly down inside 50.
2 goals, 1 from 19 disposals last week. 14 goals, 8 in all for the season for Isaac Kako. They can pick 13. Sharply pulled that back, just a little too sharply. So a couple of misses for the Bombers when a couple of early goals might have made the Giants just feel a fraction nervous at the start of the second quarter.
One thing there's time. And that's a factor, obviously, in this game. You can't put the cue on the rack, the Suns. Reed gets there. Davies attacks it. Humphrey might peel his way onto it. And launches. King's in a good spot to jump. Used his body instead. Held his ground. Roberts. Redmond. So some poise there from the Bombers. King was in a one-on-one, although that wasn't with poise turned over. Fiorini turns it back over. Pryor back against the grain. McGrath, he needs to find a chest, but he finds the chest of Noble. Drops it. And stripped. And was that high or ball? So he's gone down as if he was caught high. Holding the ball was the call. We'll keep an eye on Guelphy in the meantime. And there is the fly again. Reed. Humphrey in the pocket for the miracle shot. Off some hands. So Guelphy's come off. He's a little hurt. Got a whack to the nose. And the umpire obviously didn't see.
That money kick inside 50 there. Suns were outstanding in the first quarter. Been very sloppy the 4 or 5 times they've gone in this second quarter. They haven't been able to create that free target in there.
Menzies working hard as Guelphy tries to recover.
Play on.
Right up the ground. Fall back and gather round against the Demons. His future a little uncertain. Host of Bombers in the same category. The ball over the boundary line and out of bounds. But Wayne, if there is hope for Essendon, you are the man to find it.
Right. Well, we've got the Lee Matthews rule, so we can always...
Right. Plenty of minutes to go.
Plenty of minutes to go.
And you've been proved correct several times this year.
Well,
too.
the St Kilda game was quite unbelievable, so it does prove that you just stay in games as long as you can. Miller with a squeeze kick. Reed can't quite complete it. Anderson goes and they hunt him down. Merritt from behind, and then the strip tackle didn't quite work. Weller turned inside, turned outside, turned it over.
Great pressure by Essendon there.
Clark, right, just waited for it, but his reach was superb, and they're out.
It's much better from the Bombers. Perkins' kick was good to McMahon. Kako's on the move. Noble just putting off his centre of balance, and it's through from behind.
That is the time when you need to be patient and just wait for options to open up. He just wanted to rush it too much with inexperience to Kako.
Down the spine to Anderson.
Opposition defenders already out of position around the whack. They're running back towards goal. You need to allow your teammates to get inside 50 and just hook back.
I love giving it to Powell, getting it into his hands to deliver from half back. He heads toward Reed. It's a bit too wide for Reed, and it rolls its way out. But he's had a good season as well, Ethan Reed. In fact, the good Reeds guide is a pretty good list this year. Harley, Ethan, Murphy might win the Rising Star. There's been some good ones, but Ethan looks like his finals bound for the first time in his career, and there's a little wrestle as well.
About 15 seconds that wrestle while the game was going on around them.
For the energy levels,
Shield. to right. He's making Andrews work well up the ground. Here's Peter Wright.
Play on!
The ball from behind, which he ignores. Langford the late fly. Pops up for Rao, dominant in the opening term. Guides it towards Witts. A mismatch for size against Roberts. Advantage paid. Taken by Humphrey in no time at all. Long. Unable to gather the mark, but feeding it back to Ainsworth. To Anderson. Left foot kick. Dangerous over Newman said out marches King. Redmond holds him to account.
Brad Scott working the fines.
I think he'd be happy to see the back end of this season. But the positives, he's get to expose a lot of his list. At least he can make a decent assessment of all the players on his list.
Yeah, well, a few, what I said, playing for contracts maybe. Goldie, one of those is doing a good job. He's had a good year, Goldie, considering.
Yeah.
Bit of old gold. He's been
37, amazing.
16 games this year.
Yeah, incredible.
We'll see him Draper potentially going. You'd expect him to go again, Dwayne.
Pryor. Yeah, it feels like no reason why not. As that ruck coach come back up. If Brian can get back fit. They've got Visentini coming through as well. McMahon, full stretch. Collins, besieged. So much more of a contest, an even contest in the second quarter.
They've already taken 19 uncontested marks this quarter, Essendon. It's only 13 in the first quarter. It's a clear change.
It's the tap you to do with it too. From Flanders to Noble to Humphrey backing back.
Back in the team. Important player.
Flanders runs for some overlap. Round another option. Yeah, grander plans. Doesn't reach Davies instead. Hooley.
Always trying to compare the Suns players, the roles they play to the Richmond players. The great premiership teams, Damien Arlington, Bailey Humphrey, probably Kane Lambert.
Yeah, there was a bit of Justin Martin early on as well.
Well, Damien that said it.
Unfair, isn't it?
Yeah. He certainly had the stamps.
It's a sight and shape anyway.
Yes, with the artwork. Long.
Go come round.
So initially there was no one on the mark, and now the umpire in this instance does allow someone to come in late on the mark, which normally around the ground they tend not to. El Hooley getting that allowance, and now Ainsworth to have the shot. Here around the ground you can't make that decision that late to go and man the mark, but inside 50 the umpire almost invited him. Do you want to come up and man the mark or not?
It should be a locked-in rule next year. Players who win that 5 minutes should be forced to stand there.
Add that to Greg Swan's list of 125. Ainsworth. Just to the near side. Drifts a bit.
Pretty simple one though, isn't it, Dwayne? Just to make it a lot easier for the umpire. Speaking of an umpire during the week, that certainly would make it a lot easier. You can't go in any direction, you just have to stand there.
We'll cut it down from 19 things they have to consider down to about 11.
Yeah, that's right.
Redmond. Wright gives him the most definitive target to kick to. Hooley popped up. Flanders at the back. Work their way through. Ainsworth shooting it out to Jeffrey. Hard run from Weller. Next stopper pulls back. Top of the goal square. Humphrey, beautiful body work. The timing of the body work was what made it, and Redmond just slightly off balance.
Yeah, I think Dustin Martin's a bit high on the tree at this point in time, but Cam Rayner, the current sort of that bulky forward who can take a good contested mark, and Humphreys, if he can get to that level consistently, he'll be good.
Just the last 2 weeks, they lost both of them with that knee injury, the swelling. Could have potentially played in Adelaide, but to be conservative, such a young talent. Wins his one-on-ones regularly and converts. They have a goal in the second term. Flush away any worries at the start of the second quarter. The margin is out to 45 points.
Imagine how it changes. I mean, the Gold Coast were beautiful, that precise kicking into the forward 50 to find the right target, a lot of uncontested marks. Almost every entry in this early in the second quarter, just like this, long and high, and you'll take the odd contested mark, but you'll get more shots at goal if you can find it like the free target in that space inside 50.
They've been able to dominate the airways. 8-3 the contested marks. They've been solid there again. It's good craft. A really good season. Down a bit last year in his second year.
Neil Diamond dominating the airwaves here at the stadium.
And that is Cam Martin.
It is too.
Nice.
We just see there, Matt Guelphy's been subbed out, so the news not good for Matt Guelphy and the Bombers, and that means Reece Unwin's on the ground.
So that knock to the eye on the face sees this season over. Davies feeds it on. He gets on the end of his own handball. Gets it further out. Ainsworth being hunted down. Gave to Reed on the run. He goes with the outside of the boot. Strangely enough. No left foot drop punt on offer there from him. And it's marked on the goal line. It is bizarre, the option some modern players take. Dersma turns and goes, and then thinks better of it. Pumps it down the line. McMahon might be the man, but Collins too solid in his body. Kako appeared to get one high, did get one high.
Waits a couple of beats for something to materialise, and that something was Langford. Too much on the kick. Power with the scraps. Fiorini has done a good job off the wing with a bit of midfield time this year. Weller, high ball, Long picked up the drop early. Humphrey waiting. Long does it himself to Butterick, to the square. Ball out of mind, of its own, and it decided to wrap it with a post rather than pop through for a goal. But quick turnover, and all of a sudden it was down the other end.
Angus Clark, another good season debutant, takes off from defence and hammers it in the right McAndrew direction. Good little battle that. Little nudge out from right. Little delay from the umpire before the whistle.
Stand, Peter. Thank you. Keep coming, keep coming.
What's Mac want to do here? Crowd in full voice. Wednesday night footy on the Gold Coast. He sits it up for the screamer. Goldie goes up. King went up. Ball to the front. Durham, can he get a kick away? He did. Umpire gave him an eternity to do it. Anderson, Hewlin, Collins, the switch is on. They might be aggressive again here.
Jeffrey. Long. He knew exactly where that was going to land, didn't he? Didn't have to move the muscle. He was out of the team at the start of last year, but by the end of it was runner-up in there, goal kicking, and he's gone from strength to greater strength this year. All-Australian nomination, as we heard, already has a goal tonight. He does love those high, long snaps. That was very high. Not quite straight enough. A rueful smile from Ben Long.
Is Dylan Craft the drop punt?
Take him out.
Might go the way of the talk and the drop kick, short to Shield. When it comes to shots at goal, little 1-2 was nice. Roberts bangs at 60. And now McMahon, the flyer, got up there. Couldn't quite mark it. Unwin thought he was away, but he's gone. And they are attacking ferociously at the moment, the Suns. And Collins fans it wide and they can go again.
A little scrappy, but Jeffrey, undaunted, kicks to half forward. Long stays waiting for the little pop over the top from Ainsworth. Doesn't come. Measured kick for Farrell. Well, Reed didn't realise that it probably wasn't designed for him. Or a push. So, he will get the free. It's Blackiston. As we mentioned already, Ethan Reid has made great progress, particularly since having a bit more responsibility.
He's instinctive ahead of the ball. He understands where it's going, reads it well.
Just 20 years of age. Part of a band of wonderful, talented, tall youngsters in the competition. And standing tall, the Suns. 9-8-62 to 1-3-9. The margin now goes over 50 points. And it appears like they are coasting towards victory and finals, although As Blaine will remind us, there's still a long way to go in this game.
Well, that elastic band's really stretching now, I reckon, Dwayne. It's just
Well, there
about
might be a few
snapped.
Suns fans booking their flight from Perth. Because it's Perth the way it's going. It's Fremantle the way it's going. A small win means the Giants at Giants Stadium. A big win means the Dockers in WA.
It's a long flight too, isn't it, for the first final?
That's right, it is. Yeah, it's about a 5-hour flight, 5 or 6 hour flight. But look, I think as the score goes higher and higher, it's the 28 points was about the mark, wasn't it? Yeah. Get the 7th spot.
And a bit of a difference in hostility as well. Giant Stadium compared to 60,000 Fremantle fans in WA. It's going to be a hostile environment there. Davies hammers it in the King direction. Oh, how about that? The unicorn nearly. Reid pulled it down with one hand. Roberts feeds it back. Shield. Another. What's going to be the future for him? Last game of the Bombers. Someone else pick him up. McMahon got there late. Knocked into the middle. McGrath had to go back to go forward. Dangerous, but having an outstanding season. Roberts, and that pickup was magnificent. Up they fly. Rioli with the big float. Powell with the crumb. Rioli doing Rioli kind of things. Hands it off to Flanders. Ugly disposal though. Perkins. Dersma. A little bit of a shrug. Got away from Jeffrey. Merrick. Centering kick is lace out. Langford. So he can stop the rot here and see if they can fight this out. The Bombers, there's an old statement, you can tell a bit about a person by how well they treat your dog when they think you're not looking. And you can tell a bit about a player by how hard they try when there's nothing on the line. And we'll see maybe a bit in the character of these Bombers players in the next half of footy. Will they fight this out or not? 15 players on the injury list. It's going to be a tough night at the office. But can their senior players stand up? They get their second. Langford delivers.
Yeah, it's really a good point, Dwayne. There are 25 fit and available players tonight, so a couple of the emergencies were fit. So there's that Bulldogs fan. I can't believe he hasn't left the building. He's got hope. Kyle Langford's kick. He had an injury here up the year, so only 8 games. Takes a strong mark. So just to give a little bit of hope for Essendon, just to hang in there. Can they get one before half-time?
It's a run of 7 consecutive goals for the Suns.
Important piece in that forward line. When Nate Caddy gets back, Peter Wright, if they can get him into strong form. Isaac Kako down there. So they've got guys capable of kicking goals. This guy was seen around the 50 mark stages.
51 and 43. Wow. The All-Australian squad in 2023. Rao, Jeffrey, Alhouli, Shield. It's wrong side. It's a turns on the left now and deep to Menzie, who has prime position to mark.
Good build up too. Good lead up there by Liam McMahon, created space over the back. Allows Menzie in a one-on-one contest.
The mid-season draft pickup from Tassie originally. Showed his wares in the SUNS taken in the 2022 mid-season draft. He's had trouble in front of goals though the past few weeks.
This one from me last week.
Yeah, his misses have been from pretty close range, so that will make him feel a whole lot better about life. Well done, Jai Menzie. And the Bombers kick 2 in a row. And the Dwayne in all of us are thinking anything's possible.
All of a sudden, the Bulldog supporter stayed in his seat. Good decision there by Shields. So see McMahon runs up into traffic, but gets space over the back one-on-one.
All right, let me do it then, Hutto. They've had 1 extra day's break, the Bombers. 1 extra day's rest. Played last Thursday night in a less physical game against Carlton than the Suns against Port last Friday. That's probably all I got. Essendon, they have lost their past 12 games. It'll be a finish to the season with 13 losses in a row if they can't get it done. But it's about the fight in many ways for Brad Scott and about what's inside the ticket of a number of players, especially when they think this one is gone. Perkins around his body, gets it inside 50. Langford went hard one way, Ewell on the other. Great commitment from both. Bodie got up, gave it to Jeffrey. Noble. Well, I think that was a clever handball. I reckon he overcooked that deliberately to get it out.
Encourage you to Ewell. Situation. You knew someone was coming. This time was Langford.
So it was a bit of an adapting to what happened in the Gabba, was it, from the other night?
Yeah, handball too hard for your teammate to actually take possession.
3 minutes 20. Essendon have kicked the last two. Dersma over the top of Anderson. Davies took two to slow and eventually stop him. Back in the goal square, being watched by McAndrew. Langford also a kick away. Here it comes. McGrath, high ball, even numbers. They're an even chance. You can see the Suns' intent was all about defence. Now, Noble, he tries it again. Fumble from Weller. Dersma. Newland. Powell. Rioli. Out of the bind almost. Oh, not yet though. Andrews kick smothered. McMahon, when there's a notion of the goal, he's normally able to put it together, and he apologises to his teammates for either for missing or for not passing.
Something McAndrew needs to tidy up in his game as he goes along. He can get untidy in those situations. Make unforced errors.
3 consecutive scores for the Bombers, Dwayne.
Yeah, they could finish this half strongly at least and give themselves some belief at half-time, even though it's a long road back. Ewan, boundary line his friend, and he knew it. They get a ball in.
Showed some good signs, Ewan, last few weeks since coming into the side. There's McAndrew there. Just an exciting player in the competition, no question. He's had some big roles, but just with ball in hand, he is a capable kick, quite skillful with his foot skills, but just needs to knock those careless mistakes out.
And Ewan's always been a footy fan, part of the Essendon Academy, but always a lover of our game as he grew up. Little feed off towards Wets. Noble mongrels it toward the boundary, and that's well played by Roberts, just to keep it alive and keep himself near the boundary in case he needs to be taken out for a ball in under pressure. See Nguyen there, first player to play of Vietnamese descent, an AFL game, and again, just another of the players they've found this year, the Bombers, which is looking good for next year.
He's only conceded 2 goals in 4 games. Good effort.
Opened up on Tom Papley.
Yep. Ritz fired it out. Rao doesn't get the ball heading the way he was hoping. And there's an awkward moment here for big Todd Goldstein. Already lost one tonight as well.
Yeah. Fairly far, jeez. What the slows. McMahon got one early in the game. Blood nose.
Suns have only won this quarter by 1 point, 2-5 to 2-4. Can you afford to lose another soldier, the Bombers?
Because they haven't had anywhere near the poise this quarter, have they? The Suns had in the first quarter. I mean, really, that might have been a really upper level. Yes, Essendon sort of stabilised the scoreboard. Obviously, it's a long, big margin. But they've been a bit sloppy in terms of the way they've gone forward this particular quarter, the Suns.
A bit of talk about Blackiston maybe doing some ruck work at some stage in his career. He's 203 centimetres. He's been playing in defence, obviously. McMahon gets up and can't mark it. But they do have a couple of pinch hitters like Wright who can go into the ruck. Good feed on. They can win the quarter, the Bombers. McAndrew gets there but knocks it off. That looked hard and high. 3.
So that's careless. He's got to be better than that.
Move out, please. Especially on the finals, too.
Are you okay to take your kick? I'm talking. Stay in that. Move out, please, now.
He did lower his body height, but
Sort of a high chest to head tackle, wasn't it, really?
Play on.
so the long launch in hope. Who's going to fly? Wright's there. McMahon's there. Big fists win out again. Weller dropped it knowing he was going to be tackled. Rioli collects. Just hits the pause button. Reed comes down to make a contest here through his hands. Roberts slipped away. Nguyen straight to Davies. He fumbles it. Seconds keep rolling. They're under some pressure here, the Suns. Hard it down. Roberts takes him out.
He's been impressive this year, hasn't he, Archie Roberts?
Let go. Set up. Benro throw in.
They already voted for the Rising Star. Or do they do that tomorrow?
I think officially tomorrow.
Okay. He might be up to number 4 by the end of the 3 by the end of the night.
He's right up there. He's progressing into the midfield as well.
Last 37 seconds. Anderson, well captured by Dersma Davies. Back to Rao. Just dismissed Durham of all people. And off the left boot, perfect service for Reed. Long paces back to goal. It's a matter of how can they get it there. Butterick, extremities, takes the mark.
Hasn't that Rao become a power runner now? He's added that to his game. No, Anderson, this to watch.
Seems to be okay. Be part of the nervous watch for the second half, won't it, for the Suns if the score remains in their favour. So the siren sounds for half-time. Connor Butterick, 4 goals, 8 for the season from his 16 games. Found a new role in that front half as the pressure forward, the running forward that gets up and back. 24 years of age, had his injury issues over the years, but he wants to be part of the September action. One side of the game, but probably not the other, the actual goal-kicking part to be a forward. That's not the prime role. Cautious eye on Noah Anderson, who was devastating in the opening term. Just added 6 disposals in that quarter, but as we stand by to head down to Alistair Lynch, they outscored the Bombers by 2 points in that opening quarter. The second quarter, the Suns' margin is 42 as it stands. 9-10-64 to 3-4-22. And Alistair Lynch has made his way across to another gun forward.
Yeah, you got Ben King here, mate. Got off to a flying start. You'd be happy with that.
Yeah, the ball's coming in hot. I think we all just did our jobs at the start there. The mids were right on top, and it was coming in well.
I think it just proved from the Bombers they can throw a bit at you, but last 10 minutes they seem to get a bit more control.
Yeah, we can't take them lightly. They've got enough good players out there that they can put a score on the board. So, yeah, we'll knuckle down again this second half.
And your own game, you look like you'd really worked hard on getting onto your opponent and pushing off and getting those leads.
Yeah, bit of physicality and then sharp feet as well. And, yeah, I'll bring our second half.
No worries. All right, thanks.
So their domination wasn't as significant in the second quarter, but they are right on track to finish 7th and set up the final against Fremantle on the road in the first week. After a 15-year wait, it's the biggest night in Gold Coast history. And tomorrow night, of course, it's a huge night on the AFL calendar as Dwayne and co get all dressed up for the AFL Awards.
There's no I in team. Thankfully for us, there is in All-Australian. Thursday night, the season's greatest individual performers are crowned. The players vote for their MVP. The coaches name their best of the year. And the 22 players who make up the 2025 Team of the Year are honoured. It's a night where superstars take centre stage. Live and exclusive to Fox Footy, the 2025 AFL Awards.
All right, there we go. It is half-time here at People's First Stadium. The Suns still doing it well. 9-10-64. The Bombers 3-4-22. The Bombers looked a little bit better in that second term, putting a bit more pressure on the Suns. I tell you what, it was good. They nearly got that quarter, but it was 2 goals 4 to the Bombers in that second term. And 2 goals 6 to the Suns. So the Suns got that second quarter by 2 points. Not as dominating as the opening term. Just goes to make you think, folks. Who does the Gold Coast Suns prefer to play? Just re-looking at this ladder again. Do they prefer to play a Fremantle in Perth, or do they prefer to play the GWS Giants up there at Engie Stadium? Look, the Gold Coast Suns, you would expect them to win tonight, but with that percentage of only 1.4%, they could drop a few goals here and drop down to the 8th if they wanted to play the Giants in the first week of the finals and not Freo. So that's another thing. Damien Hardwick and the coaches' team is probably going to work out what is the best option for the Gold Coast Suns, where they want to play. Well, that's exactly right. They just might. They'll think who they've got the better chance against. Do they want to travel just down the road to the Giants, or do they want to travel across the other side of the country De Freo, especially. Well, it's probably not so bad because it's a home game this week. I actually thought this game was at Marvel Stadium early in the week, but being at Gold Coast, it's probably not so bad for them. But they certainly could manipulate the margin if they wanted to. It just depends who they want to play. I think both sides are going to be tough opponents. I don't know whether it matters who you play in the finals. It's it's all going to be tough games. All teams are in reasonably good form, so the only choice is you got to win. But there we go. I don't know. That is, it's a good question, isn't it? We'll certainly find out as the game goes on. Looking at the goal scorers, Benny King still leads away, hasn't added to his tally, so the defenders did well in that second term on him. Still the 3 goals won for the Suns. Noah Anderson with 2. They're your only multiples. Matty Rowell, Ethan Reid, Ben Long, and Bailey Humphrey. He's got 1 also for the Suns. John McKenzie, Kyle Langford, Sam Durham. They're the only singles for the Bombers. Ball magnets now. Let's just have a little bit of a peekaboo. Of course, we see Matt Rowell up the top with John Noble. To tell you what, Johnny Noble, he's had a fantastic season. Had a fantastic season there. Both on 19. Dylan Shield, 17 best for the Bombers. Noah Anderson, as Aaron was saying. Could be a chance at the Brownlow, you never know. He's on 17. He's had 10 and 7. Couple of goals. Archie Roberts having a good game. He looks to be a good, tough player there for the Bombers in the coming future. Will Powell, 15. Lockie Weller, Sam Flanders, 14 there. You've got to go all the way down to Mason Redmond on 12. Zach Merritt, 11 with Andy McGrath there for the Bombers. Danny Rioli a little bit quieter in that second turn there for the Suns, just with the 9, 2 and 7 for him. Let's roll on down. Benny Long, 8 disposals for him, 1 goal, 1. McAndrew, there we go, a little bit sloppy in his play at times. He's just had the 8 touches, still doing reasonably well. The big man, Jared Wirtz, 6 disposals, 1 kick, 5 handballs, 16 hit-outs, 1 clearance for him. All right, just before we go any further, we'll just head back down to the commentators. Gold Coast to try and decide how much they want to win by GD. That's exactly right. If you have a look here, percentage, Gold Coast Suns, they can pretty much choose who they want to play in the first week of the finals, the Giants or Freo. Whoever think they've got the better chances. But, sometimes you don't want to flirt with form and give away that form. So maybe they'll just dominate and head on to Freo next week. All right, let's just head back to the commentators for a little bit of analysis.
Partly probably lack of defensive pressure by Essendon, but the ability for the Suns to get possession around the middle of the ground or half back and then run it and then be able to find the precise kick inside 50. 12 inside 50 marks a massive amount in 1 quarter, and it was just firing the space. The second quarter, that disappeared for the Suns, really. They started to kick the ball in long high. I guess when Rioli's charging, then the defenders which go left, right, back or forward, and Ben King got on the end of 3 of those. But I thought the precision kicking in the first quarter, that set up the game.
And we've seen that evolve over time, Brownie and Lee. We've seen them a lot. Certainly a couple of years ago, they were bombing long into the forward line. So that composure to go inside field 50 was first class. Now let's have a look at the first half highlights, thanks to Harvey Norman. And Brownie, you want to touch on the Suns' transition, their ability to bounce out of defensive half into their forward half.
Danny Rioli's been an important inclusion, obviously, going into September. So look at that scores from defensive half, 34 points. So this is an area of the game that's just dropped off a bit over the last 5 or 6 weeks. You've got to be able to score from turnover. So being able to score well from turnover, score well from that half-back area tonight, and more often than not, when they've started at the change from back there, it's ended up inside forward 50. So they've got some good movers in there. Instead of this kick here by Will Powell, I like his aggression back in there. Spoke about Rioli, Noble, we know is confident, and Joel Jeffrey as well. So they have got some kickers back there.
And as Lee touched on, 12 marks inside forward 50 in the first quarter. They only had 16 at half-time, but that was probably better defence from the Bombers. But Lee, you coached a few handy midfielders. What about this guy, Noah Anderson. He's had a big first quarter with a couple of goals and 17 touches.
It's a great match round. They had a couple of down days, down nights by their own standards. They weren't that bad, but by their own standards against Port Adelaide. So players like that, you sort of know they're not going to have two bad games in a row, and they really dig in. So Anderson in particular, but Rowell, I mean, they got to lead the charge in there, and then others move around them. Miller was pretty good, but yeah, they were good. I must admit, they did drop back into that second quarter, into kicking the ball long inside 50, and really the quarter was pretty even, that second quarter, but certainly Anderson has been outstanding.
What a handy finish by Noah Anderson there. He's a sneaky chance to be All-Australian captain, along with probably the other Queenslander, Harris Andrews. What do you want to see, Brownie, from the Bombers in the second half?
Well, it's the fight, isn't it? It's competitiveness. They were able to get some centre clearances, get the ball inside 50, kick 2 late goals. So they've got to fight it out. So, look, Brad's not going to put a line through guys. But he'll want to see them compete and fight it out and get through to the end. It is a test of character, isn't it? So when all hope is lost, and they're just hanging on for hope at the moment, aren't they? That's where you're...
Well, they dug in the second quarter, so they've got to be doing that. I mean, it's hard because the scoreboard has blown right out. But the ability for them automatically just to compete, that's what you're looking for from the Essendon team.
And in the last sort of 10 to 15 minutes, and especially in that second quarter, their ball movement was a lot better.
Yeah, clear direction at quarter time would have been to build the uncontested marks. Don't turn into a back and forth game of football, because the Suns love that. So they started to get some marks. Only 13 uncontested marks first quarter, at about 5 minutes into the second quarter. So that was better. They were able to at least move the ball from one end of the ground to the other, so the Suns didn't lock it in their forward half and hit some scoring opportunities late in the quarter.
And certainly a couple of encouraging signs from the younger players. So they'll be looking for a bit more of that in the second half if they're going to compete in this second half. But now let's cross to the Fox Footy newsroom with John Ralph. Ralphie, can you take us through the finals fixturing?
Hello, Lynchy. So Gold Coast has been given a projected finals fixture for what now seems certain to be the first final in their 15-year history. Now, if they don't leapfrog Hawthorn on percentage, they would take on GWS at about 3:15 or 3:20 at NG Stadium on Saturday afternoon. It would give them, or the other side, a chance to fly out into their beds by the time of the airport curfew. The current scenario, they take on Fremantle at Optus Stadium in what would be a 7:30 p.m. Eastern Seaboard time on Saturday night. That would be 5:30 local time. So right now, it is Giants versus Hawthorn, 3:15 or so Saturday afternoon at NG. Freo versus Suns, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Seaboard, Saturday night at Optus Stadium. Now, the Western Bulldogs fans and players have probably given up all hope. So GWS has already started trolling them on Facebook. There you can see, you're still watching this one, Western Bulldogs fans. So probably a couple of frothies tonight. Then early to bed, with exit interviews now starting tomorrow morning. Now, Essendon, they will send 3 of their players overseas for rehab and training camps in coming weeks as they try and get to the bottom of this horrific injury list. So Langford and Caddy will head to the Aspetar Clinic in Doha, Qatar in coming weeks for a week of intensive training. Darcy Parish, with all those calf and back issues, will go to Baltimore, USA in coming weeks for diagnosis and training. Now, Essendon tells me Reid and Caldwell making excellent progress. Be ready for the first day of pre-season. Matt Guelphy subbed off with a calf concern tonight. So those exit interviews start tomorrow for Essendon. 13 players without a contract. Of those playing tonight, Lual, Pryor, Blackiston, McMahon, Shield, Goldstein and Laverty, all in the dark about their current deals. My understanding, McMahon and Blackiston likely to win new deals for next year. So Todd Goldstein will show you this incident with friendly fire involving Xavier Dersma. So he's open to playing on next year. It probably depends on whether Sam Draper plays on. Now, Bryant and Vicentini are contracted. They're still awaiting that decision on his free agency. So we're yet to get an update on whether he comes out in the third term. Let's desperately hope he's out there tonight, and let's desperately hope he gets a contract with Essendon next season. Fingers crossed.
Let's hope so, Ralph. He's been a superstar over a long period of time, that man. In the shoes of Damien Hardwick at halftime, your team's in control. What do you present to the players?
Well, to be honest, it's a challenge every halftime. Is ignore the scoreboard. I mean, you got to just keep doing what makes you play well. The scoreboard will take care of itself, whether you're 42 points in front or for the Essendon 42 points behind. I think that challenge, it's players have the challenge, don't they, Lynchy? You guys know it, to actually ignore the scoreboard and just try and play your best football minute by minute.
Start the quarter well. Ramp the pressure up a bit, I think, too. Drop right off in that second quarter.
Well, I think you're spot on there. A good start to the third term, no doubt, is on the cards for the the Gold Coast Suns, Dwayne.
Thanks, Lynchy. Our iconic Fox footy trio downstairs. 14 premierships between Lee Matthews, Jonathan Brown, Lynchy, Hutto and I tonight. Half-time here on the Gold Coast. The Suns halfway to September.
You're watching...
All right, there we go. We're only 6 minutes away to the bounce of the ball for the second half here, folks. We're just going to have a little bit of a peekaboo at the rest of some of these stats for all the stats fans out there. There we go. We got down to Jared Witts there, Jackson Pryor, Langford, Kako and Angus Clark all on 6 apiece. Peter Wright's just had the 5 touches, just one behind for the big man for the Bombers. Todd Goldstein, the ruckman for the Bombers, 5 touches, 11 hit-outs, 3 clearances. He went off the ground. He had a bit of a head clash with his own player in a marking contest, so we'll see whether he passes the test and is able to take his spot back out on the ground. Time will tell. We'll see on the opening bounce of the second half if he is out there. As I said, Ben King, the 4 touches, 4 kicks, 3 goals, 1 didn't add to his tally there in the second term, but looked pretty good. As we're saying, it all depends on who they want to play, how they're going to do in this second term. Just looking at the team stats, we'll have a little bit of a glance at that. Up at half time, there we go. It's 63 plus to the Suns. So far disposal overall. There we go. Just in control of this ball here this evening, People's First Stadium. That's plus 17 kicks. There we go. 46 handballs. Linking up well the Suns. Inside 50s. It tells the tale a little bit, doesn't it? 37 inside 50s for 19 scoring shots, going better than 50%. And for the Bombers, 19 inside 50s. They've scored 7 times. There we go. They're plus 18, nearly double the Bombers inside 50s. Both teams' disposal efficiency around the ground, not too bad. Both above season average, 78, 79%. Free kicks, there was a few more given in that term. There we go. I think it was 0-2 there at quarter time. It's now 8-5. Gold Coast Suns getting the home ground advantage of those free kicks. So it seems they're plus 3 now in the free kicks. Just looking at the hit-outs, Gold Coast on top there. 16-12 plus 4. The clearances, they're plus 2 there. So the Bombers staying in touch with the Suns, which is good news for Bombers fans. 7-6 out of the centre. They're just the plus 1 in the stoppage as well. So doing quite well. Contested possession, the Suns definitely a little bit harder. Plus 21. Yeah, the Essendon coach won't be too happy with that. They need to lift that up, their contested possession. 141.92. There we go. They're plus. There we go. Plus 49 uncontested. As we say, the Bombers just can't get their ball in their hands for long enough at this game, so it seems. Turnovers really low there from the Suns, so that's great news for the Suns at 28. Going under season average, Bombers 36 there. We're looking at the marking count. Marks pretty even around the ground, 45-43, plus 2 to the Suns, but it is the Suns. They're just creating space in their forward 50, continuing on from the opening term. 16-5. Look, their season average, folks, is only 12 for an entire game. 16 up until half-time is fantastic. They're going 50% above season average already, and that is only half-time. Contested marks also a bit stronger in the air, 8-4 for the Suns. Just looking at the tackle count there. Well, I suppose the tackle count's a little bit low there for the Suns because they've pretty much always got the ball in hand. They don't need to tackle themselves. 17. I'll tell you what, next week their tackle count want to be up, their pressure want to be up when they're playing Freo. 26 there to the Bombers, tackles inside 50, just 3-2. All right, there we go. And just having one more, let me just put it back on here. One more glance at the ladder. That's the ladder at half time, the live ladder for the final game. Round 24.5, I'd call it. 2025 AFL Premiership season. The Gold Coast Suns jump up from 9th to 7th. And, of course, we see the Bombers down there in 15th spot. And that's where they're going to stay, whether they win, lose or draw. They'll remain in 15th spot. So the Gold Coast Suns, I think the Western Bulldogs supporters, well, there we go. They're probably turned off this game already and, I don't know, put on a movie or or gone to sleep. I don't know. The Bombers not really taking up the Gold Coast, giving the Western Bulldogs fans or players that, in fact, much hope or anything to smile at so far up until half time. There we go. That is the halftime score, though. 19 64, 22. 42 points the margin. Half time. As they say, the Bombers, they don't need to... Well, for the Bombers, it's not all about winning. It's a matter of how they play the game, if they can get back into this game. And at least they can finish off the season well for them. Of course, we know, folks, for the Western Bulldogs fans, they've still got hope that the Bombers can do a miraculous comeback. I'll tell you what, I don't see it happening. As for the Suns, well, the Suns, if they're really wanting to play Freo over there, I think what the Suns need to do, they need to just dominate the second half here and run away and put a big margin on, so they've got flying form going into the Open final. All right, that's enough me jibber-jabbering up until half time. Let's head back down to the action. Where's the Suns by 42 points?
In Perth, if they win by a fair bit less, it could yet be the Giants. 2 quarters to go.
There's the live ladder. That's where they stand right now. 5 goals is roughly the margin, but we'll keep you in touch with that. 70 to 100 score-wise, or 100 to 130, depending on how big a score Essendon can kick and the Suns can kick. But Damien Hardwick, he knows that first half has edged them ever closer to history. 15 years of the competition for the Suns, and this on track to be their biggest ever moment. Great to have your company on Fox Footy. Wicks with the perfect palm down again. Didn't quite work, although it works for him to get a second possession from Miller. A floater, Pryor. Inside kick, Shield. So they fan it wide, Clark.
A good run from Kako there. So he started to set a bounce after half time. Saw it last week, did quite a few set of bounces, moving well.
Bullet past a half forward. Might still work. It's a wobbler that went straight to the arms of Hewland. Wasn't meant for him, but he was right spot, right time, as he has so often this season.
After due consideration, high to the wing. Right. Ruck at the moment, Dersma, Rioli, Humphrey. Good run from Miller. And the pass to Max. There's a bomber down on the edge of the 50, which means there's Ben Long on his own. High ball for Ainsworth, an unlikely target. And look at the crash and desperation of Al Hurley to make sure that there was no mark taken. Redmond, that was down, as you said. Ben Long can take some victims. Let's see what happens. Oh, no.
It's never a good sign when you do it without another body. Something's gone wrong there.
So it can't be Achilles.
No, definitely not.
Merritt. Roberts.
Outside 5.
Sheets has put a master assistant and then made some sort of signal to Mitchell White.
High ball. Flyers go up. McMahon, long way from home. McGrath turns it over. Noble feeds it inside to Miller. And that's a bullet pass to King. This is how the game started. This might be their end. King's dominated. 3 goals won so far tonight, all in the opening term.
10 metres aiming.
He's hard to beat. He's a big man, but he leads to the ball. He's got good speed, reaches out in front. This has been the highlight of his season, especially the second half of the year, his goal kicking accuracy.
He joined us late. The Suns won the first quarter by 40 points. At 46-6, but only won the second quarter by 2 points. King, you're right behind him at home, and that'll work back beautifully. He's got 4.
Just talking to the Suns during the week, Brownie, the 2 goals that Port kicked at the start of the third quarter, it felt like they just unnerved them a little bit, so they kicked that first goal here, I can feel pretty relaxed.
Absolutely. Yeah, they would have been to start well, so that's what I did. I saw a lot of this in the first quarter, so 16 450 marks in the first half, 12 of those came in the first quarter. Now that's the most by any team this season in half of football. So that's better. Just, I reckon, lowering their eyes instead of bombing away in the second quarter. They just fell into that a little bit.
No, I mean, it was the forwards just weren't making themselves available, Brandon. Two-way thing, isn't it, really? The forward has to get into space to kick to him. Otherwise, you just sort of kick it long, and that's what the Suns did for most of the second term.
And the news getting worse for Essendon. Todd Goldstein's been confirmed. He's out with concussion, so out of the game.
Mason Redmond down there now as well.
Yeah, just been treated. He limped from the ground. I think he's getting an ankle re-strapped.
Miller with the floating handball round. Bulldozes his way through again. The Suns fans are on their feet now. September beckons.
The evolution of this guy has been so impressive, and the component that he's added on is his power running. And, I suppose, one part of the game that was lacking in say Lee was that outside ball. Now, he had a lot of contested footy early in his career, but this year his power running, his surge running has been outstanding.
That was so strong, wasn't he? He basically saw that McGrath could tackle him, but the fend-off just gave him half a yard. Then, as you said, he's got that ability now to dig in 3 or 4 steps and got real acceleration. It didn't seem to have had that early in his career.
Having the leaders led to there, Anderson, Miller around, bang.
It's been important. And Damien Hartley spoke about post-game last week. We're handed over to the players.
Yeah.
And when you hand it over to the players, it's the leaders that have to stand up, and they've all done that tonight.
They're out to their biggest margin of the game now, the Suns. Miller working hard in tight. Good to have him back. He had some hamstring issues a few weeks ago. It's found the chest of Lual, and he heads out wide. It's a delightful pass, not quite. Thought Langford was going to get there. Slides in and lifted across the boundary. 55 points. They can almost see it now, the Suns. Almost start enjoying it. They know they're going to get there. 30 points about the margin. Over that, they're headed to Perth to play Fremantle. Merritt on the move. Wants it down to his own advantage through the traffic. Dursman did pretty well. Found a gap where there wasn't one and hits back. Gets one back.
It's a great play by Zach Merritt, wasn't it? Just pursued out of that forward 50 stoppage, just stuck at it.
It's indeed good that look at the future, isn't it? Because Zach Merritt is like a bit of a part-time centre square player now, isn't he? As if they want that next generation to get the Midfield minutes in tight, and Zach's going along with it, but in the sense that he's prepared to play that outside role. Still gets a lot of the ball, but not getting the 40 touches, which he sort of gets if he tends to be the genuine centre square mid.
I think part of it at the moment, Lee, is the hand.
Maybe that too, yeah, maybe.
But definitely during the year, they did move him around, didn't they?
Definitely is a big focus of Brad Scott. So that's an area that Essendon struggled at the last 15 years to really build a deep midfield. They've had some star players in there, but just not enough. So they need to be able to grow that out to be able to compete with the better teams.
Just when the Suns were starting to relax, the Bombers hit back with a goal and have possession again. Right, the handoff to McGrath. McMahon defended well by Collins. Hooley. McGrath again. Stubs it in short for Langford. Noble. Rao. Trusts his left. Visibly and he finds Butterick. To Farah. Long leads up. Witts pushes forward. King is 2 kicks away probably now for Farah. Comes up to it now. Witts against right. Long. Kako.
I'm impressed with Kako's ability to cover the ground, though.
Back this
Spoke about
way.
it earlier in the game.
Jared, Peter.
For a young man to play every game this season, younger players tie up, especially in weaker teams.
McGrath almost handed that to Roberts. And how's that going to bounce? Unkindly for Noble. Clean bowl in. Lual caught. Looked like a throw from here.
Holding the ball.
I said it looked like a throw from there. Play on to advantage. Weller, part the seas. Tries to feed it through. Newman got his body in the way. Laverty cut down. Magnificent.
They get down the high. The Gold Coast Suns half-backers. Will Powell, Noble, Rioli, Joel Jeffries at times.
Who's on the mark?
Very aggressive in their positioning.
Hasn't kicked a goal this year, 4 behinds. Doesn't get this far forward. A few of their defenders don't get forward much. St Collins, 147 games without ever kicking a goal now. He's hunting down Ted Potter's record of 182. Harley gets forward to halfway. Powell gets an opportunity for his first of this season. Distance wasn't a worry. And he joins the party. It's like a crack of lightning when he came back.
Good work. Well set up. So, yes, we spoke about they do get in high. They win the clearance here. The halfbacks are set up in a really strong position. They are aggressive to come forward and defend there. Being able to get 18 forward-half turnovers tonight, which is a high number, and score from them.
It's the one where once the player lifts the ball, the umpire says he's had prior opportunity and therefore becomes holding the ball. That's the key hold. If you lift the ball in the air, you're able to handball, therefore prior opportunity's gone.
Suns have kicked 10 of the 12 goals at that end of the ground now. Back to a 55-point margin. Enjoy. Still over the face of Will Powell and co. Has had that party atmosphere now. Right sends Essendon forward.
Essendon.
Bit of holding.
By the jumper. Back to him, no.
Look at each other.
Back to him here.
A little wrong play, which technically is 50, I think. But anyway.
Yeah, Davies gave it back to the wrong guy, but the umpire cut him some slack. Maybe didn't explain it well enough. Depends on which umpire you get.
Someone's only been in the system for a couple of games. That come into it.
Didn't plead enough. They'll protest us too little.
There's a Redman is back out there for the Bombers. White's pushed forward. The jump from the side, Durham. McMahon and Menzies waiting on the outside. Wasn't able as clean as he would have liked, and you can see the result.
Yeah, Durham spending some time full forward. Seen that during the year.
Noble waste no time and waste no metres. He used his full measure to Jeffrey. Holds it up. His father, of course, was a star in the comp. Never played in a final in about 90 games of his career. Joel about to play in one now. Collins heads wide. Well worked. Hewlin. Supermac inside to Weller. Back to Hewlin. They're having some fun. Ainsworth. Who does he want in the lead? Farrell will do. Elected not to go to King. And Farrell is a great around Australia playing footy story of his own. From WA to SA. And here he is back in the Suns lineup this year and become a permanent forward. Gone with a slightly smaller option rather than Jed Walter.
He even played a bit of footy for North Wangaratta in that journey as well before he played Division 2 amateurs in Adelaide.
Won the BNF.
Yeah.
In Wang. He was on the Crows reserves list for a little while as well. And he uses the body language to try and bend this in, but he couldn't bend it enough.
It was a big build-up from behind.
It was.
And he has made a difference, as we've referenced to this Suns team since he's come back into the team. It was a breakout year a couple of years ago. Couldn't really follow up last season.
Yeah, the two young forwards, Walters and Reid, was just one too many, wasn't it, really? When they're both so young, they're both probably really good players, but at this point of their careers.
Right, marks the Roberts kick.
And he can help with the forward-half pressure. So he's a good pressure player.
Kick in the end rather than the mark. It's a long switch, but it's going to get there safely to Dersma. Redmond testing out that ankle. And there's a little more. There's pain associated with the landing, I think.
Stand there, please.
That's for the Wars this quarter.
You okay?
Nothing's changed right to the last game, has it, for Essendon? With gritted teeth and plays it back to Laverty. And then to Pryor. So they've opened the ground up at least. Spread them wide. Blackiston. They have to help with the ruck load, you would think, in this second half. Durham comes bounding out, but he doesn't get there for the contest. Powell with a Menzies tackle.
Yeah, this game almost a reflection of Essendon's season. 15 are on the injury list now, and I've already got two guys out of this game, Goldstein and Guelphy, whereas the Suns still have their sub to bring on when they feel the need. Anderson Ainsworth will pick your poison here, really. Who do you chase down? Got so many guns. Anderson long. Oh, it's a good grab back with the flight by Roberts, who looks like he's hurt himself now. You get one to the sternum or the throat?
It looks like he's holding his elbow.
You okay to take a kick?
Gee.
You okay? Sound like I'm stand.
It is extraordinary, isn't it, really?
Play on. Girls.
Lucky they don't have to play next week.
Back over the line, Bodie.
That is the point, though. They would have, every healthy player would have played next week, I guess. So 25 fit players tonight, 23 take the field, so only 2 emergencies.
I wonder if he's rubbing his eyes, the coach. It goes bang up to half forward. There's some interference going Essendon's way to Blackiston to turn it back the Bombers' way. They try by 55 points at this stage.
Good on. Play on.
Pumps it out wide. Might be too wide for everyone by the boundary umpire. And Hewlett and Rioli can negotiate whose kick it is.
Move outside 5. Outside
Bodie
5.
Hewlett, his brother Zeke, might be the #1 draft pick next year, so they get another academy product through. Pumps it wide. Kings stalking it. And Reed might pluck it. Speaking of great local products. Been a few that have been celebrated. Connor Butterick's another one who captained their academy years ago and has stuck through the thick and thin. Going to get rewarded with a final. Weller's come home. Ex-Gold Coast, went to Fremantle, came home to play with the Suns. He's about to get rewarded as well. Reed from the pocket. Not bad off the boot. Just across the face a little.
There's Jed Walter there in the middle. We'll see him closer.
Walter and Reed, great mates. Pryor. Targets McMahon, but Collins was a step ahead. Ryan ticking over here. How can he link with one of the forwards? Humphrey just trying to hide away in the pocket. Anderson. Jeffrey just lurking behind and felt so inclined. Instead across to Rioli. The stand start and the absolutely outstanding finish. Everyone wants to be a part of it now. Daniel Rioli knows what it's like to experience September glory. He'd love his new teammates to get to know that feeling. The margin is now beyond 10 goals. I think it even goes over the Russell rule.
Almost over the Matthews rule.
Well, Essendon had a lot of players in the back 50, we can see here. All you can really do is try and work the arc. Means the best you're probably going to do is have a long shot, but Rioli, he certainly had no problem popping through from the 50-metre line.
He's looked good tonight. 11 disposals. Fremantle will have to keep an eye on that. I'm not sure he'll be afforded as much room next week. They play Fremantle in the first final. He's been good tonight, an important player, especially in their transition game.
Broke his leg at his 200th game, of course, in Adelaide. That was one of their less memorable performances of the season. There's something about the Adelaide Oval, isn't there? I better hope they don't play there in the finals.
Yeah, can't wait to get there next week. Kako thumps one inside 50. Collins playing in front, left it behind though. Inside handoff by Merritt is good. Menzies hard it down, and here they go. Humphrey, just out of the reach of Ainsworth, that handball, but he olays a couple, lifts it over their head, gave to Jeffrey, and here comes Long. He slides in. Couldn't mark it. Clark, Blackiston, Shield, out wide, Luali wants it back, Shield. Just out of his reach, he towed it to his own advantage, and he tried to handball it to his own advantage. He'd like that. 8 seconds back.
In the end, Humphrey took it to ground. He almost could have got the free out of that. Dylan Shield. Instead, it's Anderson on another surge. One, thought about a second. Across to Miller instead. Hard running. The surge is on again. Butterick. Ainsworth, but outmarches Redmond. Watching it back for the Bombers. I think this game opening up a bit now.
I think that was clever from Ainsworth. He just allowed him to mark that. Right ball, El Hooley. Little nudge. Gets the handball for his trouble. From Langford and pumps it over the head of McMahon, who had to go back and try and find it. Anderson's been everywhere. He was a little quieter last week and the week before, but has dominated the captain tonight, and he might be All-Australian bound tomorrow night as well. Humphrey bangs that. Long! Not quite. Just flicked away last second.
Yeah, Anderson only 3 at quarter time and 8 at half time last week.
Yeah, he got going in the second half, but just wasn't good enough to be able to get it done, the Suns. Damien Harley could be still watching closely. Obviously, only, what is it, 9 days, 9 or 10 days until they play. So he still wants to see good habits, not getting any sloppy errors or setups.
Weller's turn. Can't capitalise on. Most wins Damien Harbury's ever had in the season is 18 in 2018. 15 will actually equal 2013, 2015 and 2017 when they won the flag.
And they are not done yet. Their meter's still running here. The Suns. Farrell, little 1-2. Could have gone for the little pass inside, but just happens it through for a goal at the end. Fiorini. Their 27 possessions against Port last week, the most for the Gold Coast. It's become a pretty reliable commodity for them at the right time.
Yeah, he's had a pretty good season, been pretty consistent in the lead, half-forward. Something to keep there by Mason and normal getting that pressure. It's the main thing you're looking for in Damien Harbury's shoes. It's hard to get Scott shoes, but
Well, I think Damien Harbury about now, I mean, the game's gone now. Like, when I say you've got to be conservative as a coach, but once you're 10, 11, 12 goals in front, okay, you can say we're going to win, and not quite yet. But you'd have to be asking yourself the question, which players do we want to sort of have a lesser game if we can? I mean, when players are used to rotating on and off the field, you can't do it like, you know, the old days when the interchange was used as much. But at the same time, which players might benefit from a short last quarter?
Noah Anderson always this season looks like he's in the Brownlow medal hunt as well. So that's another issue for tonight as to who you take off.
I don't think Damien Harbury's considering that, but the player will be. But the player will be.
The player will be, Lee?
He will be. Don't worry about that.
Shield got them going out of the middle. They haven't gone past the wing yet. Clark look to achieve that goal.
Could you sense when Acker was? And
Well, yeah, I don't know about that. No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I go that far. But a player, particularly one who might be right up in all the voting, like the Brownlow, yeah, but all the other awards that exist, there is an element in their mind. Well, if I have a really good last quarter, I could win, you know, get me over the line in one of these awards. So, yeah, but the coach is not considering that in his strategy at this point of the game.
So do we see who the most important son is by who gets subbed off?
Well, potentially, yes. That's one way of looking at it, Hunter. Normally the bloke that gets subbed off is the guy going the worst, but it might be the guy going the best tonight.
certainly did with the car park situation. Well, you got 1A.
We just followed in nicely. Brown wants it across half-back. Powell, Fiorini, Rioli, Anderson forward of the play. Turned down the lead from Long and then went to Farah or Ainsworth. There's a crumb to be had. Ewan gets it to it. Gets a little shove.
Back to the 9. Back to the 9. Yeah.
I suppose the other issue is they want to get some game time into Jake Rogers. This is his 9th game of the season, so he's been brought in as the sub. Hasn't played since about round 9. High kick, McAndrew gets up. El Hooley, nice handoff. Durham, Menzie, Langford, a talk. Can Big Peter Wright get there? Bit of poetry in slow motion from Pete. He was lurking, loping. Now he's tackling. We'll get a ball up.
Thanks, bro.
169. Davies read the tap. Just got a bootlace to it. Wits straight to Shield. Unwin. Concedes immediately. Couldn't really control the kick out, and McMahon there for the re-entry for the Bombers, but it's a pretty crowded house up ahead. And they work the edges. Clark. A couple of goals since that sensational debut. Mid-season, been a real plus. Top of the square, Dersma with a leap. And the fist was strong and assertive from Jeffrey.
Weller gets a chance to go. King's all the way up on the wing. He ignored him. He went inside to Reed. Flick on was delightful. Miller inside. Anderson caught. He took the tackle and took 4 more steps to Ainsworth. To King, who's fed on. Open goal. Gets there, goals. Oh, this is fun now. He's got 5. And they've got the smell of September.
Very nice looking forward. His confidence up leading into September. 5 goals. Move well tonight to end this third quarter as they're still in their training drill. Anderson's been impressive. Anderson and Rao. Their ability to force the ball forward.
It is interesting. I mean, this when you think of the outside field, the game itself is obviously decided. I think everyone at the ground, including the players, would know that. But in terms of, okay, what a big win has got him a trip to Perth, a small win gets him a trip to Sydney. Well, I know what I'd prefer, a trip to Sydney than a trip to Perth. So on that basis, I don't think you can manufacture a score, Brownie. Don't think you give the opposition 7 goals. Is that against the rules even?
Yeah, no.
I wonder if it's against the rules to manufacture a margin.
14 players the last quarter.
It's not going to happen, but it is a... That would be in the back of your mind. Oh, well, we're off to Perth in a week and a half. Well, I think we'd probably prefer to go to Sydney. Forget about the West Fremantle or the Giants. It's just the trip and the duration. The 5 hours against 1.5.
Rocky bounce, doesn't stop them. Miller kicked it forward. Then King second in the Coleman. Of course, Damien Hardwick's taken players off the ground before in a pre-season match to manage.
Certainly, no doubt it's impacted decision-making in the last quarter with his players. Like they said, what players he takes off the field.
He played 16 at the end of the pre-season game.
Did he play at a pre-season game?
He's not going to rest. Yeah, AFL, I don't think will tick off on that.
Well, the problem is you don't want to cook the players who do play the biggest minutes either. So it is always a balancing act in a situation like this.
6-goal third quarter so far. Still 5 minutes to add to that. Kako, tireless worker, so is McGrath. Where he'll play positionally next year. Perkins and Bilal, Kako again. Deep to full forward and beyond. Flanders. Able to guide the kick safely. Ainsworth heard the call down the line from Miller, who powered on. He's got Reed in his sights. He wouldn't be sure of that by the kick. Blackiston allowed entry, caught one high on the hairdo, play on the call, Merritt, back to Dersma, and again, Clark, Shield, Perkins, the handballs are finished. Here's the kick, how is it? Just a little strong from McMahon, the fist from Menzie, and eventually Ewell was there to disrupt and send Humphrey on his way.
Andrew works hard for him. Gives it back to him for his trouble. Weller looks inside. He wants the inside handoff. He's got a few short options. Miller under some heat. Rao and now Humphrey. Third possession in this string of play. It's good to have him back.
He's moved well tonight. Bailey Humphrey, important player. Going to be important in their first final.
It's a low tackling game earlier. It's really dropped off. Now, Essendon have only had 23 tackles. They just, it's been a low pressure game. They got going in the second quarter a little bit, but right now it is just a fairly non-contact end-to-end game.
This kick to pump the lead out to 80. Opens it up a bit and bangs it. Plenty of carry, but not the accuracy.
He looks a player built for September as well. Shield. One-on-one, Dersma, the Flanders. Favoured Flanders, he did well. Rioli. Tried to use Fiorini and he had to turn, and didn't he do it impressively? Rioli doesn't quite reach Fiorini to three. He's going away the Bombers.
Yeah, new and caught by the ear.
Come back up. Outside 5. Stand.
Shield. 2 minute signs are up on the bench. Back to Newen. They have switched a lot, the Bombers, when they've had the chance. Clark, Farah, did his best not to.
Stand.
Loads up. Andrew stays down, says to Witsy, yours, big fella. Essendon free kick. For a hole at the back of the pack. I thought they did pretty well there in combination. Wits and Mac Anderson. A few people here with a memory. Peter Wright, big son.
Tosses it up down the line. McMahon followed it all the way. Collins didn't want to overcommit. Tries to dictate terms from ground level, but had to deal with Durham. That's no easy task. Just a reminder that a big win means they're on the road to play Fremantle. If it was down around the 5-goal mark or under, it would have been to NG Stadium against the Giants.
Gold Coast. Well,
So kick to the Suns. Giants and Hawthorn, of course. That leaves. Kick to the wing. Juggler from Reed. Blackiston turns brilliantly. Got through Powell to half forward. Slightly interrupted. And now completely by Weller and Fiorini and Powell. They take off again. Rao, Fiorini. Wild handball. So the Bombers really digging in with the pressure here. They deserve to win that back. Merit to Kako.
Heads out wild, but they'll leave nothing in the tank. Menzie. They've got a quarter and 50 seconds left in this season, the Bombers. And a few, as we've mentioned, playing for contracts. Maybe if the Bombers don't offer a contract, someone else will. Menzie looks at that congested forward line to try and work out what to do. Sets it up. Remark of the year contender, up they fly. No one marks it. It's a good wrap-around arm and leg tackle, which we've seen a bit evolve into the game. The double leg, double arm. Cautiously.
The last 27 seconds of the third quarter. And a quarter dominated by the Suns, as they did in the first. 6-5 to 1-2.
Essendon.
And they've pulled out a free kick to the Bombers, so they might get a bit of scoreboard embarrassment late in the quarter.
All 360 game.
Mac Andrew, he's had his moments with umpires. Costly one, but he was a bit unlucky last week. Let's have a look.
10 metres. Jared, Sam, right out, please. Do it. 10 metres, please.
Sam, please.
So Menzie, as a result of all that confusion, gets the shot. Kicked truly early. And he finished the season on an up. He's had his moments in front of goal. It wasn't convincing, was it? But it is a goal. Much to the disappointment of Mac Andrew. The bigger picture is what's important. And it's a pretty one if you're the Suns. On the cusp of history. 1 quarter to go to confirm their place in the top 8. And they may have a few to celebrate a little further tomorrow night with the All-Australian and the full AFL Awards night coming your way.
All right, there we go. 3/4 time. We've got a quarter left. And then the home and away season is done and dusted for 2025. It's all finals action coming up after this quarter, of course, in a week and a half's time. 15-15, 105, the Gold Coast Suns, 5-6-36, the Bombers. Bombers, 2 goals, 2 in that third term. The Gold Coast Suns, though, put the hammer back down a little bit. 6 goals, 5, doing a good job. They're certainly going to run away with this game. Of course, Essendon kicking a goal after the siren there, Taddy. So there we go. What's going on? 105-36. I tell you what, the Gold Coast Suns, that's what's going on tonight in this game. The Gold Coast Suns are just fantastic in every way, controlling this game from go to woe. Essendon just finding it hard. I tell you what, Gold Coast Suns finding space out on the ground. They've got good run and carry going on here tonight. So they look like they're going to extend this lead. And then they will prepare in a week and a half's time to go for a trip over to Perth. As I was talking about on the commentary, the Gold Coast could have chosen just to take an hour and a half flight, but no, they chose the 5-hour flight on the other side of the country. There we go. As you say, you don't flirt with good form. You keep that form rolling, and that's certainly what the Gold Coast Suns are doing this evening. Let's just have another quick look now. 3/4 time of the goal scorers. Ben King with 3, Noah Anderson 2. They're the only multiples out on the ground. And of course, Matt Rowell, Ethan Reid, Ben Long, Bailey Humphrey are the singles for the Bombers. Still, Jai McKenzie, Langford, Durham, the goal scorers for them. Actually, I don't think that's reloaded. Let me reload the goal scorers up. That's better. That's better. Now the goal scorers have loaded up. Ben King, 5 goals, 1. That's it. 2 goals in that third term. 5 goals, 1 for Ben King. Matt Rowell, Noah Anderson, both with 2 each. Rioli, Ethan Reid, Will Powell, Ben Long, Bailey Humphrey. Fiorini has a singles. And of course for the Bombers, Jai McKenzie. But Jai Menzies is the only multiple with 2. Cole Langford, Dersma and Durham are singles. Bombers just can't stick. I know they just can't stick a tackle. I tell you what, they've been a little bit fumbly with the ball too, Aaron, out there tonight. I'm not sure why. It looks pretty good conditions out there to be playing, but they're just a little bit too classy for this Essendon side tonight. Matty Rowell, 27. Noah Anderson having a ring-a-ding-ding game, 26. 6 clearances, 2 goals for him, so he's having a fantastic game. So is Johnny Noble, 24. Dylan Shield, best for the Bombers on 24. Archie Roberts, 22. Zach Merritt, 19. There we go. Let's just roll on down a little bit. Tuke Miller, 18 there with Fiorini for the Suns. Andy McGrath on 17 there for the Bombers. Dan Rioli's having a couple of good moments out there. Good to see him running into a bit of form, ready for the finals on 14. Mostly handballs, 4 kicks, 10 handballs. Kicked a goal 2 from long range out. That was great to see him getting amongst the action with the goal on the board there for him. Mac Andrew on 11. Jared Witts, the big ruckman, just the 9. 2 kicks, 7 handballs. He's had a mark, a tackle, 32 hit-outs, 2 clearances for the big man there. Now, I didn't see the other ruckman there for Essendon, Todd Goldstein, so he must have been... Maybe he was subbed out for the game. I think he could have been. Anyway, there we go. That is your player stats up until 3/4 time, folks. So we are going to head back down to the ground for the final action. Tell you what, what's that? 69 points. The Gold Coast Suns lead by going into the final quarter, I think. What's the chances of 100? Well, it's plus 31 in the final term. Maybe that's a target they might be looking for. We'll have to just wait and see. Or can the Bombers make a little bit of a comeback? But there we go. 69 points the margin. We're going to head down to the ground to the commentators and they'll run us into the bounce of the ball for the final quarter up here at People's First Stadium.
Matt Rowell, once again, has been on fire, and we know that he's starting to impact the scoreboard. Just have a look in the third quarter, how his ability to get out the front and steady and kick a long goal. So he kicked 2 goals, 1 in the game so far. Dominated during that third term. He's had 27 disposals, the leading disposal winner on the ground. Lee Matthews touched on that the Gold Coast Suns have only had 23 tackles for the game. Matt Rowell's had 8 of them, so he's absolutely on fire. 10 score involvements. He's putting on a clinic. Might be a big week for Matt Rowell. A win tonight, finals bound, and maybe his first All-Australian.
Certainly have to be in the All-Australian after tonight's performance. He's impressive, though, isn't it?
But you would have thought in the top... He and Anderson are both in the top 4 or 5 midfielders this year. You'd think they'd both have to be All-Australian.
It's even more impressive, when she said 8 tackles. Yeah. Two of his teammates have had 1 or more tackles tonight, so in a low-pressure game.
That makes him the #1 tackler in the competition for the season. He needed to get 7 to draw level with Tom Atkins. And 8 takes him past.
Great effort. He's had the all-round game, hasn't he, this year? He's really developed his power running.
So Humphrey looks like he may have been the one who's given the tick by the coach to get up and have a spell.
First game back.
We're not taking any chances with you.
Yeah.
So one last quarter to confirm what we already know. The Gold Coast Suns are on their way to playing finals footy for the first time. And they're going forward out of the middle. Howe towards King. Well done by Laverty. Merritt got through one and the other as well. Laverty with a rush kick though. Davies able to hug in the chest mark safely. He's staked his claim for finals position late in the season. His timing looks good. 5 years he's been with the Suns through the academy. Just his 6th game for the year. 38th in all. Built like a footballer and showing that he absolutely is in AFL ranks. Kicks his first goal of the season. And he's going to be there in September with the Suns. The league extends to 75. And there's the joy spreading around all the Suns players here at Midfield Stadium.
Yeah, good effort. Yes, he's been good the last 6 weeks since coming to the lineup. Probably unsure where his career is at up until that game. So he comes in and has added something different. He's a big man. He's up over 190 centimetres, complements Anderson and Rao well. He often gets in there and tries to block for Rao and Anderson, who they are getting sat on, along with Toot Miller and Jared Witts. Quite a physical midfield now to compete with the likes of the Brisbane with their powerful midfield and Collingwood and those types.
It allows them to use Toot Miller in more than, half forward upfield, high half forward than necessarily in the centre square.
Ball up. Blackiston is in there now, but another clearance to Anderson, although that's almost hit the roof. Tough one to grab. Good attack from Reid. He's heart and soul into it. His rail again. Muscled his way out of a tackle. Shields just hammers it away and hope. Mac Andrew, Menzie outreach the two of them. Turns and goes. He's got McMahon out the back. Tough one to mark. Almost. Landed like a cat. Spins. Durham. Is it back to him or missed him really? Collins mops up the mess as he so often does. Noble. Mac. Howe. Cut off.
Do you love the way Collins attacked that contest? What he backed into the contest. He knew if he goes front on, you're just very hard not to give away a front on spoil free kick. So he just turned his back and ran backwards into contact. I mean, it's a brave way to do it, but it's also a very smart way to do it.
So Bailey Humphrey's importance underlined by the fact that he's been subbed off.
Give him the tick.
Davies pulls it out of there. Redmond engaged Reid early. Bypassed Merritt the first time. Clark desperate to get it back to him. Now Roberts. When it comes to go forward, can right extend from not that far. Natural buoyancy and power. To Weller. Back into trouble. Basically minding his own business. He's trying to draw a 50 out of it. Back through Mac. And out to Daniel Rioli. Going to take on the youngster. Not yet. Plays it back to Collins. Strong enough to force his way through McMahon. Noble to Miller. There's Rogers. Full of energy and enthusiasm. Haven't seen him since the first half of the year. Round 9, been biding his time. Flanders kick. And King gets the absolute A1 service.
Yeah, he's coming the ball well tonight. First mark he took was a contested mark early deep, but since then he's led up. There's Bailey Humphrey being subbed out. Good return tonight after being out for a few weeks.
Bombers probably wouldn't mind the bloke sitting next to him to play in defence. Always been in on the joke or creating the joke. Yep. Take you to finals indeed. And the man who's played a significant role in that is Ben King. so efficient. Minimal disposals, maximum impact. Take us to your king, and it will lead the way into September. 81 points is the margin.
Start the year off with an 87-point victory against West Coast Eagles. Tonight, heading that way as well. Comfortably now in the 7th position on the ladder, play 3-0 next week in Perth.
Yes, it's sort of Cox or Pierce. They've got two really good big defenders. The doctor's already there. You know they're going to be good matchups for a king-type player.
He's gone past Tom Lynch there. It's the most goals ever in a season by a Gold Coast Sun.
And he's got finals to add to it as well. Of course, there is one extra home and away game these days to play with those stats, but he's had an outstanding year. And is led from the front again tonight. Rowell, Kako knocked it away. Rowell, Anderson, who's going to get you? Anderson to Rioli. He puts his speed on. Gone! Well, he tested himself out at least.
Advantage.
Little heat check. Langford loops it over the top. Unwin found the handle eventually. Ignored Kako. He goes longer. Right. 1-2. Not the third. McAndrew got a little pinky in there.
What was that second? This is where you hold your breath a little bit. It was a calf injury, I think, wasn't it? Rioli had this one in form. So when he takes off late in the game, first game back, hold your breath.
Sending the message out, slow down.
Well, actually, I think it was actually a broken leg. It wasn't a bone. But yeah, I think initially it looked like a calf injury on the day, because that's where it was holding. It's a great effort from Ben King. That's 68 goals. He has kicked a lot. He's really torched the lower teams. So finals will be a different test for him.
He's kicked back really though, so we'll take that confidence in.
Lancaster's a great run down from him a few moments ago on Rioli. Kako, they feed it around. Indiscriminate kick inside. Half took care of business. Ewan helps it on. Langford prepared to go out to try and return with some sort of hope of getting closer to goal. Cycle back to Shield. And Redmond.
Play on!
Peter Wright put his tent up in the pocket. So that's not viable, but that lead is from Langford. And he's probably within range.
Right out. Outside, 2 metres, please.
Goals in both his games against the Suns last year. He was absent, of course, when they met in round 15, but he did kick 4 early in round 2020, in the season 2023 against Gold Coast. Little pass off to Pryor.
It's the same distance out. It's the previous. He wasn't confident. Now he's going to try and get it back.
Come here now, 10 metres. Noah, can you go back 3 more metres, please?
Pryor.
Hasn't kicked a goal for 2 years, Jackson Pryor.
Jackson Pryor.
He gives that absolutely everything. He's far off the mark.
Noble. Ground announcer just letting everybody know. Is he letting them know they can all run on and pack a bat side like they used to in the old days? Run out and pack your hero. Rogers runs. They've had plenty of heroes tonight. He wants it back. Long doesn't give it back to him. He goes longer to King, who has been the king tonight. Second grab. Oh, the umpire, not equal to the theatre of the occasion. He's taken it off him. Second grab was inside, but the umpire deemed there was a hand in there. Witts knocks to the front. McGrath gets it out of the danger area. McAndrew puts it to grass. McMahon, you can't duck out of a Collins tackle. He squeezed the kick away. Durham and the crowd tell you the story. That hit the wrong side of his boot.
So the kid's allowed to run out tonight, Dwayne. Surely there's no finals here. I reckon they might have been given the
post-match kick, you know.
Yeah, I think they might have been given the green light. There's a fair crowd here.
Yeah,
Turn up on a Wednesday night.
They have to wait for the second siren, or can they go out and just celebrate? It is a celebration night. First time ever they've made finals. And the fans have been a big part of it. Farah hands it off instead. No, thought about it, thought better of it. But the fans that have come tonight, it's a Wednesday night. It's not full, the stadium, but there's some locked-on fans, some faithful fans. The seats them thin. They might as well celebrate a bit of thick here and be allowed on. This is going to be a fantastic celebration when the siren sounds. What a night it's been. Great to have your company on Fox Footy. You're right behind him. That'll work its way back magnificently.
All right, Brownie, we're going to reflect on our favourite goals of 2025.
Yes, I'm going to get to the opposition. I'm going to go to Nate Caddy. I love this one. Look at this. Did you ever pull this off Anthony Hudson back in your junior career? Look at the flexibility. I'm not sure the hamstrings were good enough. Jason Francis, this was a
This
ripper.
was my nomination because of the duel that went on between him and Harley Reid before that. Dwayne, what did you like?
I like the flying fin. Given the context of where they were at, that was a fantastic goal. Just a delight to watch.
Lee designs that rank, and the body use, and then just the ability to kick a goal across the body. I mean, just superb skill.
So they're our favourites, not necessarily what we think is the goal of the year, but some of the great moments, and they're having good times here on the Gold Coast at the moment. Lead out to 86 points. Missed time lead. It was a high one from Reid. Blackiston able to get away with the goodies. Here comes Rao. Handball to Jeffrey. Scything run from the number 40. Uses Reid. Wants it back. Green lit to go, and that's what it's like for the Suns. Ken Farah. Oh, they can't quite. Goes at it again. Ainsworth. They're going to finish this with a huge lead and a massive victory. Go into the finals with great emphasis and confidence.
He's played 155. God, this is 156 game now. And Ainsworth just the part of that, those running half-forward flankers important. We've seen those in the Damien Hardwick teams back to the Richmond Premiership years. He likes those hard-working half-forwards, those runners. Ainsworth's there, Budrick. Spoken a fair bit about Bailey Humphrey tonight. Sam Flanders, if they can get him back in the top form. They've got those players that are capable of executing Damien Hardwick's preferred game style.
And it'll be their greatest winning margin ever against the Bombers, which before tonight stood at 61 points. It's now 92 and getting bigger by the second. Reid into the ruck against Wright to Anderson. Another clearance that went backwards, but dainty little kick to Powell.
Advantage.
And here they go again. Miller, Jeffrey. Floats it out wide. Long's got to be the flyer. Couldn't mark it. Ainsworth tried to give it back to Budrick, to be kind. Newen caught. It's like a big rubber band. He was held by the stretchy jumper. Anderson feeds it back in. Miller, little dance step. A little too wide. Budrick got a bit of Sharon, but a lot of ear and merit with the free kick.
Takes the short to Pryor. Hooley. Good check of the lie of the land. A run from Clark. Honoured. The best handball to McGrath, but it's good enough. Not so much with the kick. Back over the line. What a leader he's been, Noah Anderson.
Yeah, he'd be up there along with Jordan Dawson and Harris Andrews. I would have thought in contention for all Australian
as the three.
Yeah.
Which way would you lean, Brownie?
Probably take the Brisbane hat off, but
Be nice. Langford back to Merritt.
Harris is very, very good though, but it's going to be a tough one to choose.
Clark, very diplomatic, Jonathan. Oh, Merritt got a little clip.
Contact after the kick.
After the kick, so it'll be downfield.
Actually, often the captain of the All-Australian team is a reward for sustained performance over a period of time, isn't it? Not so much, I mean, being able to tell who is the best captain as opposed to the best player who is a captain.
I think, like Max Gawn, obviously, he was an All-Australian captain before. He's done it so many times, like he was an All-Australian. But when choosing the captain, I think it does weight, certainly weight towards team performance. I think that certainly helps Sean Dawson's team finish on top. Brisbane's up there, and obviously the Suns are playing finals for the first time.
And the journey's taken as many roads as Liam McMahon's. Every goal counts, and he makes that one. He'll take a downfielder. He's shown the ability at every level to kick goals, making his claim to continue his AFL journey.
And thankfully nothing for Tukwila to worry about. There wasn't much in that.
Doesn't take much for a downfield free kick these days.
So Essendon, they're always going to finish 15th. At the start of the night, they had 15th spot locked in, couldn't go up with a win or down with a loss. So Brad Scott, third season as coach, his toughest season, 11th and 15th. It'll be their biggest ever loss to the Suns, for the Bombers, but they'll lick their wounds and get on with a big pre-season. Anderson, another clearance. He has dominated. He came into this game as the number 1 possession winner for the Suns and number 3 in the comp this year. But he, from the first time he came into the comp, has let the world know, better keep an eye on me. He's grown with each passing season. And as a leader, maybe, has taken another leap in everybody's book. Suns chant rings around this magnificent stadium. Right court. Handball knocked down. Dersma got it off. Clark under some heat. Here's the man Anderson on cue. Nails one. Remember my name. You'll be hearing it tomorrow night.
It's the numbers, aren't they? 33 disposals, 11 clearances, 80% of bounds clearances. So they need to go close to a record. We were thought 3 goals. So Dave Knight back in the form last week. Just dipped a bit. I know he was in the second half.
Yeah, no, it's been magnificent. And I mentioned earlier, I mean, when you go down the bottom, mate, you get stuck down there for a number of years like the Suns will be. You get the early draft choices. So they got Anderson and Rao. And the kids have stayed the course. And they're really so pleased there. A bit like Harvey Reid re-signing with the Eagles. And shout out to Ben King the same. A lot of people thought when Ben King was drafted that he would have he'd go back to Melbourne eventually, but he stayed the course as well. So they're the kind of foundation young players, I reckon, that have got the ability and the character. And the team is built around those kind of players.
That was the coaches' votes before they went in camera. Right in the mix. There's some major awards, including the Brownlow, perhaps. Kako quite have the touch on the entry that time. And the ball slides over and out.
He does draw the attention of the umpires, Anderson. He certainly can get the ball. He's clean on the inside. He's good on the outside. He's plenty of touch in the forward half.
And it's in front. Kako tries to set up Dersma. The problem was he set him up for a tackle rather than a shot for goal. Ewan to Noble to Davies. Ewan hasn't scored a goal, but unless he gets it downfield or 50, I don't think this is going to be it. Instead, he tees it up for Peter Wright. And he's fisted through. Now, little fun fact, the Suns have actually played in September before. Nice. 3 games during COVID.
Ooh, yes.
And they lost them all.
How'd they go? Not good.
Sorry about the
performance you're telling us. Yeah.
Well, we're going with the fun facts. Noah Anderson, his highest rated game of his career.
Wow. So there's some Brownlow votes maybe and coaches' votes. You'd think his coach would give him some. Laverty. Told to go. Sets it up. Big Mac gets up there and he just kills it with a fist. So, I mean, how Damien Harbeck as well, second season as coach, 14 seasons, 3 premierships at Richmond. They brought him up here for this reason. We've got one of the greatest coaches of all time with us, Lee Matthews. What a moment for him.
It is. I mean, he had great coaching, premiership credibility. I mean, there's good coaches never won premierships, but it authenticates coaches.
Well, it does, doesn't it? To go to a second club and be able to do it, of course, is the real challenge. Kako pulls that out of the fire and kicks a fine goal for the Bombers.
Yeah, good job. He's been impressive this year. One of the stars, young players in the competition, but his resilience throughout the season has been the most impressive thing. He's a strong lad. He's just kept getting better and better, getting exposed more and more in the midfield. So as the players start to get fit and healthier next year for the Bombers, he resumes that combination with Nate Caddy. It's exciting times ahead for this young man.
It's a big effort to play every game.
It's a huge effort.
In your first season. They've had Kako. I know Roberts played late last year, but Kako, Roberts, Pryor, McGrath, the only 4. 15 on their injury list right now. It has given the opportunity for maybe a fast growth for an Isaac Kako. From the restart, Suns chant rings around the stadium again. Kako given some midfield times, done well. And he gives it to Roberts. 2 of those every game, youngest players in this Bombers lineup, and rolled out the hand of Dersma.
Well, 3 of the young ones out there tonight, you're pretty confident going to be stars. Roberts, Kako, and the other one is Angus Clark.
Yep.
He's done some really nice things throughout the season. Burst on the scene in his debut, of course, but he's going to be impressive as well. He's been impressive. Hopefully that growth continues.
Wow. Noble. Oh, there's the persistence from Archie Roberts right to the end.
Let's go, let's go.
He has shown all the traits to belong at this level.
The crowd officially a bit over 16,000, which is a good turn up. I mean, for the Suns, particularly midweek.
Right, match by Witts. Menzie. That'll work. And the Bombers having a little late flurry. At least they're not going to get beaten by 100 points. They've had, I think, 3 over 90, haven't they, this year?
Yeah, it's been a low percentage year for them. They only had three lower. One during the suspensions in 2016, the other 2 were in World War I. So, it doesn't paint a great picture for the Bombers.
So they're resting a few players now as well. So Collins is off, Rowell is off, Miller is off, and now Anderson is off. So they're resting some big guns now. And talked about Rowell being the #1 tackler in the comp this year, going past Tom Atkins. He's also the #1 clearance player. So to have that set of numbers behind you as a season, #1 in clearances, #1 in tackles, offense and defense. What a year he's had. Witts palms it down. So Davies in the middle, Rogers in the middle. Weller gets a chance to have a run in there. And here comes Jeffrey on the march. He could go for home. He just pops it up in hope. Farah! Didn't get painted. He's got to have one last attempt at mark of the year.
You gave him your best shot, Clay.
Only got 6.5 minutes left to try and pull one out of the bag. Chip kick down the wing. Blackiston does well. Turns and goes and hits Durham lace out.
All right, we'll take up the challenge then, Dwayne. Off to Shield. To Menzie again.
Finals doesn't count, does it?
No.
Peter Wright waiting in the goal square. Menzie not inclined to send it that way now. A little too late. He's kicked 3. As I said, kicked 4 earlier in the year in one game. He found himself not too long after that out of the team. Bit of a statement here to finish the year if he could kick 4. And he falls short. Witts taking no chances. Great journey, isn't it, for Jared Witts too? Played his 200th game 5 years Collingwood, there wasn't really going to be a future there with Brodie Grundy having the mantle. And he's just been a wonderful contributor. As is that man Dylan Shield at 2 clubs.
Yeah, and Durham is one of those that believe he's the number 1 tap ruckman in the comp, Jared Witt. So maybe he's part of the reason why Rowell and Anderson are such a dynamic duo in the middle, and such a force when it comes to their clearance power. Ainsworth out wide, flicks it, Flanders, some room to roam, pulls the kick late, kicks it inside 50 and Reid turns. What's he trying to do here? His eyes are looking. Now looking for handball options. Not sure what that means, but I'd reckon it suggests you might as well go fast now, does it? It's not, we're going to the pits.
Going to the pits, yeah.
Yeah. He pulls the kick late. King! What a dominant force he's been. This will be for number 7.
Taking a couple of mark of the year contenders as well. He needed to jump on Jackson Pryor there. But it was a good kick, set play, going through 7th.
So a career high coming up for Ben King, and a good moment for it. It's a celebration night for the Suns, and it's a stop the clocks moment for Big Ben.
That's good. Been terrific all night. We're going full of confidence against Fremantle next weekend.
One of the dangers they provide is in the air, Brownie. They've taken some great hangs, haven't they? Starting back in round 1.
Absolutely. There's Jed Walter there. That game was in Darwin. That was an absolute beauty. Ben Long, they can get up and catch him. We've seen Ethan Reid tonight a couple of times as well. Jai Farah, he's certainly got the hops there as well. Taking some beauties throughout the year.
Going to be critical in their finals. Ethan Reid is getting almost better by the game, but I think the finals might go around a bit quick for him. You know, it's going to be interesting to see whether he's been able to be a contributor, I guess. So King is going to be really, Ethan Reid will be a good player in the future, no doubt about that. But just where he is right now is a very slim, tall marking forward.
It's the tap. Back out. Roberts, Merritt, Blackiston, pushed wide to be dangerous. Back to, no, he doesn't go to Keko. Instead, it's a hard lead from Darren.
4 centre clearances, Keko. Led by Darren, just played a fair chunk in the second half, especially at full forward.
Not a great time for him.
Got to get him off. You nearly play 17 men, I reckon, just to get him off.
He's almost the most indispensable, isn't he? Although Moyle's been a pretty good replacement at times, but yeah, Jared Rich. It'll be important for them.
Well, especially against Jackson and Darcy.
Yeah.
Sam Durham, much loved Essendon player, and it's easy to see why. Has a goal tonight. Double rat. I think of all those Suns along the way, the coaches and the early original Suns that have been part of this journey. There'll be a lot of smiles here tonight, won't there, around the country from those guys?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a lot of hard work, a lot of pain. So they've had a strong first half of the year. Plenty of times they've just faltered in the second half of the year. Not this year.
Middle toe inside 50. They've planted out the Bombers at least. Merritt, it does always give 100%. Ewan cut down. Crowd still screaming for freeze. Weller. Rogers. Sub. Hot pass. Big Witsy. Can he join the party? Hands it up. Rogers again. Rolls it inside. Ainsworth. Oh, it is party time now. This is worth savouring if you're a Suns fan.
12 individual goal kickers tonight. Ainsworth's second goal. Big Richie moving well, the big man. He's one of the biggest men. We don't put weights on the players anymore, but he'd be one of the heaviest, I reckon. Such an important player for the Suns. Helps with their clearance dominance. Rangers roaring around the stadium tonight. So Ainsworth will be happy. Just had a few mistakes late in the game last week, so he'll be happy. Contributed well tonight. Important player.
Ready to go. Hold, Nathan.
Back out to 89 points. And the Suns on the cusp of history. Finals finally within reach. Just a half a step away now to finally make them relevant. Beautiful bounce, Reed against Blackiston. I think Richie knows where he stands though. He's standing in the goal square. They're not bringing Anderson, Rao, Collins or Miller back on the ground, it seems, under any circumstance. So Jeffrey goes to work. Butterick. And Witz lumbers his way into the pocket. Can't quite. Has he got the energy and the effort? No, not quite that. A shot for goal. Davies. Back to Butterick. Jeffrey doesn't start wondering often. He tries to find a way through.
I think Tim would be saying, hey, Big Joe, just stand in the goal square, then drop it on your head. Don't go trying to lead into space.
Similar sort of direction he used to give to Lynchy. Don't leave the goal square.
It sounds like there's 30,000 in here at the moment. It's a beautiful celebration. What a time. It's been a long time coming. Ball skims through hands. Unwin against the grain. McGrath feeds it further on. Dersma, McGrath, Elhouli. The dance step was good, but he's cut down from behind all the way to the last second. They're giving 100%. Magnificent from Bodie Hewlett.
Moves it on quickly. And Rioli had no such mind. Just going to lap this all up. Work their way to the siren. Been such a commanding team performance, hasn't it, tonight? As the moment Ben King came out, put up 3 quick goals. Barely a worry. So I would have much preferred to have qualified earlier and higher. It doesn't change the magnitude of this occasion. And Jared Witz, one of the most popular Gold Coast Suns, the ex-captain, might well be holding the Sharon when the siren sounds. After 15 years and not before time, a moment to genuinely celebrate. All rise! The Suns are playing finals footy. Do it. Jared Witz here through so much of the tough times, and one of the reasons they were able to survive and keep some of those players, and they're joined by those other leaders you talked about tonight in Rao and Anderson, who have been so pivotal.
Yeah, especially spoke about the younger leaders. The experienced leaders being really important. Wicks and Toot Miller. The two there. Sam Collins
in defence of it,
absolutely. So they've led that younger brigade. They've stuck with that same loyalty. There's Sam Collins there, All-Australian squad. But it's a significant night for footy. On the Gold Coast, it's a growing brand up here, no question about the Gold Coast Suns. AFL in general, especially in the junior level, the boys and the girls, is phenomenal the amount of kids playing here. But the senior team needs to succeed, needs to be competitive to continue on that momentum.
Hopefully Dan Moriol is okay. Down to you, Lynchy.
The fireworks are going off behind the scoreboard too. How good's that?
Yeah, mate, it's unbelievable. I know it's still a long time to go, but I know like 11 years for myself and longer for some others to be able to get ourselves in a position to play finals footy, and it feels fantastic.
Looked like that was the greatest celebration you've ever experienced, going to September for the first time.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you got Big Wick come out of the cage and a slot one on the finish, like that man epitomises being a Suns man and being the finish with a goal and like sum up our year. I think it was it was unbelievable.
You said Big Widow's been there a while as well. You've been here 11 seasons. What's it mean to you with all the work, not just you, the players and yourself, but the staff around the place?
Yeah, definitely. It's funny, I think a lot of people see the players on TV, but it's a whole organisation that gets you to a point like this. There's people that have been here before I was here, even blokes like Dave Swallow and Lindsay Bull and Alex Rippey, there's admin staff, Tommy Beverley, just so many people that have been a part of this organisation have stuck with it, and I think it just means as much to them as it does to us. And look, I can't wipe the smile off my face. It's fantastic.
Yeah, at times over the last couple of years, did you start to lose faith that you'd get there?
Oh man, it's hard to say. Like you never want to say you ever lost belief, because you never get to put yourselves in positions like this if you do. So I feel like we gutted it out. But like I said before, we've got a long way to go still. We don't just want to stop at one final. We want to play to win a flag. So we've given ourselves a shot at it, and that's all that matters right now.
You've set standards from the first day you walked into this place. You handed over the captaincy to Noah Anderson. He's at his highest rated game of his career tonight. You must feel some pride to see Rao, Anderson, these guys in the middle of the ground.
Oh mate, yeah, absolutely genuine blokes. I think everyone sees what they're like on the field, but like genuine leaders off the field, really good people. I think they epitomise what our culture's about as well. They can play footy as the best as anyone else out there, and I think that's what we've loved, is they bring hard work. They buy into our culture, and now they're leading our club to their first final, so pretty epic.
Your first final is going to be in Perth, the longest trip in AFL footy. You're looking fair to say you're looking forward to it, but how much? How deep can you go?
Oh mate, there's no ceiling for where we can go, mate. And look, we travel all the time. It's something that we do every single week. So nothing new. Doesn't matter how far we got to go. We just got to go get the job done. It's got to be a hostile crowd. It's going to be fun. Look, I'm looking forward to it. I know the boys will be ready, and I'm just going to enjoy this for the next 24 hours. I reckon, though.
I reckon you're ready. Enjoy it.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Well, last the season's over for Essendon. I think that's probably the relief would be the feeling, wouldn't it? Put that behind them as soon as possible.
The only silver lining is there's been senior football being put into a lot of players to sort of have a look at. So that always is the benefit in the go forward. But it's been a very, very difficult second half of the year.
Right to the end, losing troops. And let's go back to the siren. What a response it was on the bell. All those emotions, the joy, the relief, the excitement. The stars on the bench. The reverse to what you'd expect.
It was a Jared Rich goal. That's what they were really into, weren't they? The game had been won well before the siren went.
And it was at the moment of absolute confirmation, though.
Yeah.
They're in. Couldn't do it over the last 2 weeks, but they've done it tonight. There really wasn't a moment, was there, tonight where like anything else, but the Suns getting the job done. So let's confirm the top 8 as the Suns party continues on the coast. As we know, the top 4 was already set in stone. Adelaide, the minor premiers, followed by Geelong and Brisbane, who will meet the Crows to play Collingwood to kick the final series off, and confirmation that the Giants will play Hawthorn, and 6th place Fremantle will meet the Gold Coast Suns in Perth to make up week 1 of the finals.
It's a massive when you have a look at those points. 15 wins has got your 8th, and what 4 of the 15 wins is. What did Bulldogs get? Did they 14 or 15? I'm trying to think. But nevertheless, the amount of wins that top 9 have had has been amazing. I mean, normally 15 wins just about get you up the top 4, but it's only a game or 2 off this year. So I must say, you look at that, and on the given day, I mean, I don't know whether the Suns can do this away from Carrara. Okay, I'll say that, but that said, on their home decks, going their way, any of these teams could beat any of the other 8 in the competition, I would have thought, going into the final series, which is a great thing.
So for the first time, we can reveal the fixture, the confirmed fixture for week 1 of the finals. It all starts Thursday night at the Adelaide Oval with the Crows and the Pies. Friday at the G, the Cats and the Lions. They played one of the great finals of all time in the preliminary last year. The 2, we have confirmation. The elimination final will between the Giants and the Hawks, so that'll be 3:15 at Engie. And then Saturday night in Perth, it'll be the Suns' maximum time to get ready for their finals debut in the other eliminator against the Fremantle Dockers. Optus, Saturday night, 7:35.
Yeah, exciting times when you get to the first week. Second chance, of course, for the qualifying finals, and then you really just get to one bad game, you're out. So it's really cutthroat from the second week of the finals. But each of the sides have earned their spot, and now we get down to the September action.
Well, there was a lot of discussion about who they'd rather play coming in, and I guess if they'd played the Giants, then at least they wouldn't have to go to Perth, but they had a shocking record, as we know, being owned by the Giants, and against Fremantle, it's only slightly better over their last 5 games, but the margins have been a fair bit closer. They did have a win back in round 9, 2022, so they'll be the underdogs, won't they?
Oh, they will be. There's no doubt you would choose the hour-and-a-half flight to Sydney rather than the 5-hour flight to Perth, but that's what the cards have given you, and they certainly come off. I mean, they had a flat game last week, but they really turned it on tonight. So they'll go into the... they've got most of their squad available, seemingly too. So on that basis, they're going in pretty good shape.
Great scenes here. "15 years in the making. Been some false starts and some heartbreak and stars leaving. That 15 years for this 15 minutes. It'll be enjoyed, won't it, before they turn their attention to what's next. Dimmo's taken his customary spot. Looking down. Looking down proudly on the Gold Coast Suns, who are playing finals for.
All right, folks, there we go. Game, set, match. That rounds out the final home and away season for 2025. And it was the Gold Coast Suns, humongous winners, 23-15, 153 defeating Essendon, 8-10-58, 95-point victors there for the Gold Coast Suns. What a way to finish. Tell you what, they're going to be running finals with full of confidence next week. And if you missed it, we'll let you know about the finals coming up. Oh, there we go. I tell you what a fantastic win. Absolutely sensational. Hey, let's just run through the stats. We'll show you the ladder. And then we'll show you the team stats, and then I'll tell you exactly when and where the finals will be played. Ben King topped the table with 7 goals, 1 there for the Gold Coast Suns. Noah Anderson with 3, Matt Rao, Ben Ainsworth with 2. Jared Witts ended up with 1 after the siren. Well done, big man. Good stuff. Dan Rioli, Ethan Reid, Will Powell, Ben Long, Bailey Humphrey, Braden Fiorini got one with Jai Farrar. Is that it? Oh no, and Alex Davies also. So plenty of goal scorers there for the Suns. And of course for the Bombers, Joe Menzies ended up with 3, best for them for the Bombers. Liam McMahon, Cole Langford, Isaac Kako, Dersma and Durham with singles. The ball magnets out on the ground. Of course, Noah Anderson, what a superstar for the Gold Coast Suns, ended up with 34, 19 kicks, 15 handballs, 12 clearances, 3 goals. If you don't mind umpire, you're fantastic. Johnny Noble crept up the table with 32. Matt Rao, 31. They were the only 3 in the 30s, of course, all come from the Gold Coast Suns. The best for the Bombers was Archie Roberts on 29. Daniel Shield, 28, was Zachy Merritt, 28. There we go. We'll just roll on down. Took Miller, 21 there for the Suns. Andy McGrath, 21 for the Bombers. And we'll just roll on down. You can check them out. 17 for Dan Rioli, Isaac Kako, both kicking 1 goal apiece. Dersma also 17. Ben Ainsworth also 17 touches out on the ground tonight. Benny Long, 12 touches, 8 kicks for him for 1 goal. 1. Peter Wright didn't trouble the scoreboard on the majors, just the one behind for him. But Ben King, 8 disposals, 8 kicks, 6 marks, 7 goals, 1. Scored from every kick, nearly the perfect game. Let's just have a look at the team stats before we check on the ladder. 404, 321, it was plus 83 disposals overall for the Suns. Inside 50s, 67 inside 50s. For how many scoring shots did they have? 38 scoring shots for their 67 inside 50s, 45 inside for the Bombers, 18 scoring shots. Free kick count, well, it ended up back on Essendon's terms there, 20-14. Hopefully they'll find some good umpires for the finals. The hit-outs, the Suns crushed Bombers, especially when the Essendon ruck went off 42-20, plus 22. Plus 5 in the clearances. Suns got on top. Centre clearances plus 4 there. Contested just in front there, the Suns. The Bombers forward back. It was plus 9 there. Just before we go any further, we'll just head down to the coach, to Dimmer, the Gold Coast Suns coach.
Awesome feeling, to be honest. And, you know, we closed a chapter on one season, now another one starts, as we know. So I couldn't be happier with, you know, what the boys did, to be perfectly honest, but more importantly, the club as a whole. So it's a great reward.
It's a huge reward. As you said, the community have been here for 15 years, riding the ups and downs. And it's great, you know, we spoke to Took Miller post-game. He's been here probably the longest of the players. You must be proud of those guys that are stuck with the club and enhance these young guys.
Oh, it has, and it's the guys that have led the way for a long time. You know, Dave Swallow, still an inaugural member of our club, and you know, live in the same street as Sammy Day, all those guys that have sort of helped along the way. And, you know, Tony Cochran in here as well, Bob East, all those people that have been here since the very start. So it's really a pat on the back for those people that have actually done a hell of a lot of hard work. And, you know, credit where credit's due. The players responded after last week. It was a tough week, I'm not going to lie. I've never been as flat, I don't think, to be perfectly honest, after last week. But, look, I was really pleased with the way they responded today.
You did hand it over to the players, though. You did speak about that post-game, didn't you? And you need your leaders to stand up when you do that.
They're incredible. Look, and the way, you know, look, Nos and Rowley in the middle, I reckon, sort of probably started it. And then, you know, Colo worked into the game. But it was just a great response from those boys. They were really proud of the way they've grown this year, more importantly. But we're also excited about what may come.
Yeah, and you'd be right too, because you come in with a clear plan. Obviously, you know it works. You're a three-time premiership coach, but you must be impressed with how it's come along the last 18 months, how that game's come together.
Yeah, it has. It's funny, you always sort of look back at some games from last year and you think, God, we would have beaten that side by 10 goals.
Yeah.
So we've really improved. We've still got some areas that we need to get better in, but that will also come through maturity. So here is the man at the moment.
You might get this guy.
I'm getting out.
No, you're not going anywhere just at the moment. Tell us a little bit about this man. No, you must be wrapped, but tell us about his leadership around the club.
Oh, it's been incredible. Look, he's one of those guys that oozes leadership, but first and foremost, he's very, very good at leading by example, leading from the front, but he also makes others lift around him, which is makes players better around him, I should say, as well, which to me is the ultimate, you know, credit to an outstanding leader. He's had a wonderful year, both on and off the field, and we're incredibly lucky to have him as part of our organisation, to be honest. So.
I feel leading into it tonight. Dimmer said he was flat. You would have been flat after last week.
Yeah, really, flat, nervous, anxious, but confident in the group to respond. I think to be honest, we probably didn't handle the pressure that well the last 3 weeks, and then I thought we did it really well this week. And the group, it showed tonight. You know, the group was playing with confidence, playing to their strengths, taking the game on. So I think it'll be a good learning curve heading into finals.
And you started well. It was important to start well tonight, wasn't it?
100%.
From the front of the centre bounce.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that was a real focus. Try and shut him out of the game early, and I think everyone played their role in that.
What was the theme tonight? How'd you theme it up for this week? Because like coming out, you said flat after last week, but last week would be a handy precursor to finals. It was a big atmosphere in Adelaide.
It was. The overriding theme was just play.
Yeah.
Like just let it all go. Let's not worry, sort of thing. And you summed it up well with. There was a little bit of nerves, a little bit of what's going to happen, all that sort of stuff. But we want to sort of get rid of that early in the week and just enjoy the game. And I think the guys did a wonderful job of none further than the guy beside us, but none further than that and what it looked like. So we're really impressed.
What do you say to the players now when you present to them shortly? I'm tipping you don't review the game in detail now, but what do you say for the next 24, 48 hours?
Oh, just congratulations. Enjoy it. Like, it's so hard to even make finals these days, and enjoy the moment that we're in now, but then more importantly, enjoy the fact that we get to play the next season.
Yep.
It all starts again, and that's excitement. We're 1 in 8 chance, and that's what everyone in AFL footy dreams of and aspires to do, and we get the opportunity to try and do that for the Gold Coast Suns, and more importantly, the Gold Coast community, which we can't wait.
Did he get your attention when he walked into the club 18 months ago? You think this bloke knows what he's talking about when it comes to winning flags and winning
every
finals?
now and again.
Nice. Got a bit cheeky about it,
I think, to be honest, we're a young, inexperienced club, so to have Dimmer walk in and tell us that you guys are good enough and you guys can make it, I think that belief went a long way. So it's been a journey even over the last 18 months. So, but still growth to come.
Your young leadership group looks like it's come along nicely as well.
Yeah, well, yeah. But to be honest, the whole group has stepped up this year. I'm in a position in captain where I've got the older guys to lean on and the young guys wanting to do more. So I haven't felt like I've had to step up at all. It's been a real growth mindset around the whole group, and I think that shows in nights like tonight.
You must have craved and loved the evolution of that young midfield, though. To be able to add like a Bailey Humphrey we saw a Bailey a couple of years ago. He had talent, but he couldn't spend more than 2 minutes in the midfield. But his evolution must be wrapped.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, we got some talent, those young boys. So they're just so eager to learn and get better and be great teammates. So they understand what they need to do to help the team, and they're doing that every weekend. So, and most importantly, just great kids.
Yeah, well, congratulations to you both.
Is there any chance I can have a beer now? Can I go and get a bolter?
I tell you what, you can go. Congratulations to both of you.
Thank you, guys.
Fantastic year, some great wins, and you managed this beautifully. So congratulations and all the best for the next month.
Thanks, Lee.
Well done.
Good job.
Two class acts, no doubt about that, leading the club, and they're in good hands.
He's earned a beer, hasn't he? He wants to go and see his boys, Dimmo. Yeah, fantastic.
As he's given Noah Anderson a big hug, and I think Noah might have a quiet beer as well to relax, and so they should. But who they'll drag in for that quiet beer? Matty Rao. When we're talking about his work, and we've seen his evolution over the last couple of years. He was all contested ball, all inside, and he gets more uncontested ball now, which is not going to be his brand, but you need to do that. You need to be able to get out in some space and hit targets inside forward 50.
You're right. He's a ripper. The way he's evolved his game, no question about it. He's always hard on the inside where they'd be getting the ball more tackling. Tonight he had 8 tackles, and there was.
He was the only one tackling.
He was the only one out there in the crack. So, he was his power running and his surge running. It just must show, his pre-season must have been enormous, because he has really almost changed overnight, hasn't he? So here he is, Bailey Humphrey.
We're just talking about, congratulations, Bailey. We're just talking about Matty Rao, about his evolution, how he gets on the outside a bit more now. He must be a great midfielder to follow and try to emulate in the midfield.
Yeah, when I'm in there, I just let him do his thing. You don't want to get in the way of him, that's for sure. But yeah, he's found add a lot more to his game, I think, this year, and a bit more on the outside and a bit more craft and stuff. And yeah, he's taking his game to another level.
Yeah, he's got a fair bit of craft, isn't he, on the outside? But you got the craft. Now, I think we've spoken before. You've worked hard over the off season to get yourself capable of spending plenty of time in the midfield. You must be feeling like your body's in great nick.
Yeah, obviously it helps having 2 weeks off as well. But yeah, my body's feeling very good, and yeah, I'm just trying to make sure that the boys trust me when I get in there to get some minutes in.
And just to clarify,
we're watching closely. Was the most important.
Yeah,
he was going to get sucked off. Yeah.
So why are you in cotton wool?
I don't really know, to be honest.
So is the knee okay?
It's fine. Yeah, it's perfectly fine, and that's why I was like a bit annoyed getting subbed out. But no, it was just good to get through. Obviously, yeah, having the 2 weeks off just with a bit of a sore knee. So yeah, just making sure it's right for next week.
And so what was it? A bit of fluid on the knee?
Yeah, something like that. I don't really know too much. The physios just sort of said that they needed me to have a week off, and then then eventually to be 2, and yeah, wasn't my favourite thing to have 2 weeks off. I wanted to try and play every game this year, but yeah, no, at least this week was a good subbing out. Yeah, last year I got subbed out every second week for the bad stuff, so this one was good.
Hey, man, fantastic. You just taking behind the scenes, Tim's message throughout the week and before the game.
Yeah, it was pretty much just we write our own story here. Obviously, we had a poor performance last week, and yeah, we just know that if we bring our best, we're up there with the best. So yeah, he just said he left it in our hands to take it and write our own story.
We fully understand what it's like down the coach and Stills Belief, don't we? And obviously Damien Harvick's done it.
Yeah.
He's been to the top of the mountain several times. So you boys must hang on every word he says, you know, when he talks about getting in the finals.
Oh, yeah. He's got the resume, that's for sure. So, yeah, every word he says, we listen and make sure we get it done. And I think, yeah, tonight we made him proud throughout the week with just sort of taking it into our own hands.
What's he been like over the last few weeks when the games or your standard hasn't quite been there? What's he been like behind closed doors and maybe in at halftime addresses?
He's been great, like just installing belief, obviously, but he's just making sure that we've got little things to fix, and most of our game's pretty sound, but yeah, there was a couple of things the last 2 weeks that we just got a bit wrong, and yeah, just that's what he was going ahead.
Keep a lid on it tonight, mate, or a couple of beers, or?
No, it's a bit late, so it's Wednesday night as well.
It's not much happening.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably best to keep it reasonably quiet. I think the coach was going to go have a quiet one with Noah, so I reckon you've got one up your sleeve. But congratulations, enjoy the finals. It's a great experience, and you deserve it.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Done.
Good job.
Thank you.
All right, there we go, folks. A couple of interviews there. Humphreys and, of course, the coach and the captain. Just finish off these stats. There we go. In the end, plus 75 uncontested to the Suns. Turnover's not too bad, reasonably low but for both sides. Marking pretty even, 86-80. Marks inside 50. Gold Coast Suns just spread their forward line. The ball's just delivered lace out. So absolutely fantastic there. 26 marks inside forward, 50, 150% up on season average. So that was really good signs for the Gold Coast Suns in preparation for the finals. Let's roll on down. Defensive. There we go. Looking at the tackles there. Both had 8 inside 50 tackles. A 32-45. A low tackle game today. Is a little bit more free-flowing. As I said, I suppose that's good for the Gold Coast. They got in front, so they didn't want to cop any injuries, but they'll certainly need to lift that game up tomorrow. Let's have a look. This is where Gold Coast were prior to this game, down there in 9th on 120. We lift this up. There is the ladder. Gold Coast Suns up in a 7th position. Finished off the season after playing 23, 15 wins, 8 losses, a percentage 124.9. So they are into the finals. They're into the finals. There we go. So, folks, you're asking, when do the finals start? Well, I'll tell you what. The first qualifying final is Thursday week, September 4. September 4 is the first game of the finals. And, of course, that is a Thursday night. That'll take place 6:30 p.m. That's Adelaide taking on Collingwood over there at Adelaide Oval. I tell you what, all these games are going to be absolutely fantastic, nail-biting, ring-a-ding-ding games. But that is the first final coming up Thursday week. Of course, tomorrow week, Adelaide taking on Collingwood over there at Adelaide Oval. Of course, the second qualifying final will be held on the Friday night. So the first one Thursday night, the second one Friday night. Of course, that'll be the 5th of September. That's Geelong taking on the Brisbane Lions. 6:30 p.m. That's will be taking place at the MCG. And then, of course, on the Saturday, the elimination finals kick off. You got the GWS Giants taking on Hawthorn, 3:15 p.m. on the Saturday. That's at Engie Stadium. And, of course, the second elimination final, the Fremantle Dockers will be taking on the Gold Coast Suns over there at Optus Stadium, 7:30 p.m. on the Saturday night. So just recapping the finals, who's playing and where they're playing. Of course, Thursday week is Adelaide taking on Collingwood, Adelaide Oval. Friday, Geelong taking on the Brisbane Lions, MCG, 6:30 p.m. Friday week. Saturday week, of course, it's the Giants and the Hawks, 3:15 p.m. at Engie Stadium. And, of course, Fremantle have a home final against the Gold Coast Suns, Saturday week, 7:35 p.m. Optus Stadium over there in Perth. So that is all your finals laid out for you. I tell you what, folks, it really is anyone's season to have a real big shot at getting the flag this year, because it's just all so even. All right, that is it. That is done and dusted. Hey, that is the home and away season for 2025, all wrapped up and done. Next up is the finals, and of course, all kicks off Thursday week. Tomorrow week, the finals will kick off. So until then, ciao for now. Thanks, everyone, for coming in. 86% voting for the Gold Coast Suns in the live chat today. Well done, everyone. All right, folks, that's it for me. I'll see you Thursday week for the next AFL football game. First week of the finals. It's going to be a wrecker. A ring-a-ding-ding final series. Make sure you come along and join us. We'll see you Thursday week when Adelaide take on Collingwood in the first final of 4 finals to come over the weekend. It's going to be great. All right, folks. Hey, ciao for now. We'll see you at the next game.